757.
787 departure frequency 95 will be 1257.
257, thanks.
Missed him by a heartbeat. All right, welcome back to the SciFi And Friends podcast. This is episode number 23. There's something special about 23, right?
Michael Jordan's number.
Yeah, he's Michael Jordan. And something about Shakespeare, right? Yeah. I used to wait. I used to wait. Nope, I used to wait on a guy named Martin Kaufman, and he was an English teacher in L.A. at Buffalo Grill, and he used to tell me some weird shit about the number 23. I don't remember any of it, so I'm not even going to go there.
23 was a cool year. I mean, when I turned 23, it was a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Nobody liked me when I was 23.
No one liked you when you were 23?
No, I didn't.
It's a Blink-182 reference.
Oh, way over my head. Anyway, I'm sitting here. Well, Jimmy wants me to go over the promotionals. So there's On It, and these are all in the description. There's On It. You can save 10% on all your orders. There's 23andMe, the genetic testing data. I think you get 20% off your first testing kit, and then 20% off each additional testing kit. Sticker Mule, there's a nice little discount of Sticker Mule. I just got 70 SciFi And Friends stickers.
Sticker Mule's awesome.
Yeah, get $10 off. $10 off your order. Yes, super high quality stickers. And there's one more. Kuyu hunting. There is a 20% discount code. Backcountry hunting in the description below. That's all I'm going into now. You guys know where to find the links. I'm sitting here with the bluegrass band, Tragic Prelude, which consists of 3 members, correct? There's never been another.
We've had
there
some
was that one.
friends
Well,
join
yeah.
us.
Temporary.
We'll get into that.
At Winfield, we kind of have like the family band.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that. By the way, make sure these mics are right nestly close. You can pull them. You can move them around. Move them around. If you want to lean back, these things are portable.
We don't use monitors when we play, and it's because we hear ourselves too well.
Yeah.
And this is weird for us.
Being in your own head like this.
Yeah. So we're not used to that.
Most people don't like it. They usually keep one headphone off.
I personally love hearing myself. So.
I see them like when artists are in the studio, they always got both their hands on the headphones, but one's off the ear, and they're really getting into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do that.
Go right ahead. All right, first off, we got Jimi Adams to my left, Tyler Shallenburger straight across from me, and Kyle Ogle to my right.
Kyle Ogle.
And be here all night. Kyle, you play the bass. Tyler, banjo. And then Jimmy plays the guitar. And they formed the band Tragic Prelude. It's been a long day, guys. I had organic tutoring today. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. Let's get started.
What's that? What's
Carbon.
Can we just ask you questions?
What's organic tutoring?
It's a porn genre.
So you want to check out these weeds?
No, I'm going there. So Tyler bought some new pants today.
Happy with the pant size?
Very, very happy.
Talking about mine.
You should see the look of fear in Tyler's eyes right now.
I've messed up, everybody's judging me. I went over to the JC Pantry today. Had a 10 for 10 off coupon. Bought me some new pants. It's pretty awesome.
Life of a rock star.
See,
Then I found $5.
Today was a good day.
It's a great song. So I've known most of you my whole life. Tyler the longest, and Jimmy, and then Kyle. And so when did this whole Tragic Prelude thing begin? Because you said that there's some previous bands, and I remember like Jimmy. I remember you playing at the Hookah Lounge with you and Daniel. So that goes way back.
So we all kind of have our own individual stories, but Tragic Prelude kind of started with Tyler and I to begin with. I did play some solo shows early on, probably when I was like 19 or 20, and then I'd have Tyler sit in with me and play lead guitar for me, and it kind of got started up. We both went to Winfield, went to the Walnut Valley Bluegrass Festival in 2008 together. Tyler kind of picked up mandolin there, and we kind of started feeling out a new sound. After bringing in a couple other friends to go with that festival, we kind of at home we started playing together that style and that genre. And then we brought in our friend Kenny Stark, who was the original bass player for Tragic Prelude, and he and Tyler and I really are what formed.
Our first Winfield was 2010.
Yeah, Tragic Prelude. Yeah.
So yeah, we formed the fall right after Winfield the year prior. So late in the year 2009. Then
I think we played
Your first Winfield performance was
2008.
Okay.
We played our first year. It was just Tyler and I, and we'd come up with we knew a couple old Christian.
So you didn't play the stages in 2009?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, 2009 we didn't do anything. We just kind of
2010.
felt it out. That was Kenny's first year. We kind of felt it out, and then the next year,
we played.
2010 was the year we played.
Yeah, we came home, and that's when I bought my banjo, and we started playing.
Which is funny because that was Kenny's last year at Winfield. He played with us that 1 year, and then he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we picked up Kyle for the next year.
Well, no, your brother.
Well, he didn't play with us at Winfield though.
Not at Winfield, yeah.
Yeah.
So Winfield is what started this whole thing.
Yeah.
The imbuing of some sort of motivation.
I mean, really, our musical background goes back to like church.
Yeah, we played
Kyle and
together
I
all the
played
time at
right,
church.
right.
Yeah.
I was from a different town, but we sang in choirs together.
Yeah.
Did some things, so I knew the guys through that. See each other.
Kyle and I were in the original SEK Youth Chorale.
Yeah.
Not SEK Starship.
Yeah. The one that went to New York.
That's whenever Tyler showed up.
SEK Starship?
Yeah.
So Kyle and I,
SEK Airplane.
so Kyle and I were in this choir group that sang at Carnegie Hall
Okay.
in New York City whenever we were juniors
Fancy.
or sophomores.
It was
Sophomores.
It was sophomore going into junior year. It was the end. It was
That
like
summer.
in June. Yeah.
And so we spent the whole year preparing to go to
Yeah.
New York, and he and I sang there.
And
Then they continued it, and Tyler joined.
And then it failed. And they quit. We
Failed.
we
What does
were gonna
failed
do,
mean?
we were going to be we were going to do the recording for a composer's new piece.
Uh-huh.
And he had one rehearsal or two rehearsals with us, and he was like, "That Tyler guy."
You did it?
yeah,
No, it wasn't him. Actually, it wasn't him. It was all of us as a collective, I guess.
We didn't really have the drive to do it. I mean, one you're going to New York City to sing in Carnegie Hall, and the other one you're going to sing on some track that who's going
in
to listen
Wichita.
to?
In Wichita?
Yeah, who would have listened to that?
It would have been cool, but
Jacob Fry.
not not New York cool.
No,
What do you think, Tyler?
Yep.
He said Starship all the way.
So how many people consisted of Starship? It was like
well, I mean, it was like a
about 30
big group.
people.
Oh,
yeah, it was a big group.
group.
It was a big choir. I mean, we all have choral backgrounds, which is funny. I mean,
Yeah, it was SCK, so it was like all the area schools.
it's like mostly.
Which is
Clean
southeast
Riverton, Baxter,
Kansas
maybe.
for all you people way out and about and don't know where we're at.
Starship, Kansas.
That's right. So yeah, we all kind of had a choral background, and
It makes it easier to just obviously sing together. We've done
Mm-hmm.
it for a long time.
yeah, Tyler and I have definitely sang together the longest since we were in maybe high school, even before that.
I think my freshman year, especially, of
Yeah,
high school.
When you started getting into guitar.
Oh no, when we started singing together.
He played guitar long before I did.
Yeah, I've started playing guitar.
You
when I
did?
was-
What? You did?
Yeah.
I thought you were the first one.
I've
No,
been playing guitar since I was 9.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't start playing until I failed at skateboarding in 8th grade, and I needed something new and cool
I
to
kind
do.
of remember that shift.
Yeah, and so then in 9th grade, I learned how to play guitar.
I started at 9 as well, Tyler.
We're pretty cool like that.
I want to hear Kyle's story.
Kyle?
Well,
Oh, no.
man.
Can you do the whole, like, pull, you really get into it, pull the one headphone
Well,
off? Oh, boy.
started out when I was a kid. We'd be riding out. We'd go to road trips, with the family, and you listen to that road trip music. Everybody's got that, everything they listen to with their parents, kind of reminds them of, road trips and being a kid, and everything. Well, I'd always hum the bass notes. And that's where it all began. I'd hum the bass notes along with it. I knew I'd follow the chord changes, anticipate where they'd go. So then I picked up a guitar, and then I played
Did your
guitar
dad
for
buy
a little
you
bit.
your first guitar, though?
Yeah, I got my first guitar from my dad for Christmas, and then it was a few years later I picked up the little bass, and then I walked into school one day, and the teacher's like, "Hey, you have a bass?" Oh, she asked this kid Spencer, "Hey, Spencer, you got a bass?" And he goes, "No, that's Kyle." "Oh, you have a bass? We need a bass player." And I'm like, "Okay." And were you in on that choir?
Which one was that?
Mass Festival.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I played bass for Mass Festival Choir 8th grade year, and thus starting my bass playing.
Is your family musically inclined? Like, is your dad a
My
bass
dad
player?
plays. Yeah, my
Okay.
dad plays bass and steel.
So it's in your
No,
genes.
your dad is the president of the Kansas Steel Guitar Association.
Whoa.
Da, 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 da.
I didn't know that was even a real thing.
It's a real thing, and this weekend here in Baxter, they have their festival.
Anyways, skip forward a few years.
It's awesome and so much
It
fun.
is really cool. 40 steel players. It'd be really cool.
It's
This
so
is-
cool.
Well,
Kyle
what's,
plays
what's,
with them.
what's steel? What's steel?
Pedal steel.
Pedal steel. That's
Got
Yeah.
pedals and
13
strings.
strings or 10 strings and up to a lot. I mean, a lot of.
Like how many
numbers of
people are
pedals.
part of this club?
Oh, several hundred.
What? In Baxter?
No.
I mean, they're going to
No,
gather
it's
in Baxter.
this is the Kansas one. So like, but people
okay.
come from all over.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a pedal
But since
steel.
your dad is the president, whoa, okay.
If there's 100 pedal steel
If you've
players
ever
in
heard old
Baxter-
country music, it's that really nice twang.
This is
that-
like 2 guitars on top of a keyboard.
basically.
it's nuts, and they play it with like a slide.
Whoa.
It's a.
It's awesome.
I've
It's
never
a.
even- never-
It's a fancy cheese slicer. You see,
Speaking from
you see the
experience.
slices that come off that. No. Anyway, to skip forward a few years, I just played music with just about anybody and everybody that wanted to play or needed a bass player, and
Much like now.
yeah, much like I still do.
Not much has
But
changed.
anyways, I my first year at Winfield was 2010. I'd always wanted to go. Never had anybody that went. Knew anybody that went. I didn't realize these guys went the 2 years.
So wait a
prior.
minute, you knew about it before we told you about it?
Oh, I've known about it since I was a kid. My dad's
Really?
talked about it.
I didn't know that.
My dad's always mentioned it. He's like, "Oh, Eddie Adams goes to Winfield. Yeah, that's cool. You think you'd like it?" I'm like, "That sounds really cool. Why don't we go?"
I'd like to go.
So I talked about it for a long time, and then when Ben moved back, he's like, "I'm going to Winfield." And I'm like, "Well, I'm riding with you." And I went to Winfield. I didn't even take an instrument. I just took myself. I had a shaker, and I carried my shaker around. And
You didn't bring the Yamaha that year?
no, that will. I played Ben's guitar he brought.
Oh, that's right.
Ben decided he's going to learn guitar over a weekend. I ended up playing his guitar instead.
That was the one he found in like the dump in Iraq.
So I saw these guys. I guess apparently their first year at Winfield playing Fine Time stage, and they're just getting this massive reception, and just the crowd is eating it up.
And we sucked.
Oh no, they sounded
Oh, you're
great.
watching these guys.
Yeah, I'm watching them.
Yeah.
And I got to see them on stage, like doing their thing. And
birth.
they always had a little niche, standing up on the ledge. Not everybody did that. Tyler and Jimmy and their vocals just go out in the crowd hardcore. Bass was cutting through nice. Everything sounded great. And so I'm like, man, this is awesome. And I knew Kenny was leaving. It's not like I wasn't like trying to be like, hey, I want to be in your band. But
So that thought crossed your mind.
I remember one day at Winfield, I remember Jimmy kind of saying, well, Tragic Prelude was kind of slowing down, to a stop. And I was like, no, it doesn't have to, man. I was like, you guys are capable. And
Because Kenny actually he was leaving straight from Winfield to drive to Portland.
That was it.
That was 6 years ago.
He was also
Today, actually.
He was also a big part
Wow.
of getting you some times on Fine Time. When he got in good.
Yeah,
line
he did.
work.
He did a lot more legwork. He was not married, so he could he could go do things.
Kenny is,
And
so
and so I
Shout out, Kenny.
I was like, you guys need to keep playing. Whatever you do, keep playing. I was like, back on my mind, like, this would be awesome to do. A lot of fun. And several months down the line, they had a gig come up. They wanted to open for it and needed a bass player.
Yep.
Kind of just started there, clicked, things stayed.
we used my brother for a stopgap for a little bit because we knew you
But we
well
didn't.
enough.
You were giving some shady info.
We were. Hey,
It
we
was-
were
it
getting
was-
some
it
shady
was-
info on Kyle.
It was, Kyle's going to take it over. Kyle's going to get in there.
Yeah, it was
And-
really
and
strange that we
he's like-
we did get a lot of really shady info. Like we just didn't know you that well on like a personal basis. Like I knew you from school, but that was the all I really knew.
Well, the other
we
thing
weren't
is
like friends hanging
we
out all
knew
the time.
Jordan was going to be a temporary fix anyways because we picked him up right after Winfield, and we knew he was going to go away.
He studied
to
abroad.
Malta for study abroad.
Abroad?
Study abroad.
He studied a braid. His French. Oh my God, his French braids. He's got the Brazilian braids.
He would sit there and just study them, just pick over
His
them.
nimble fingers.
We knew he was studying abroad, so we. It was kind of it was kind of like just like delaying the inevitable.
Right.
I think it was kind of like we both had to.
We're like, we don't want to break it up.
We don't want to break it up. We got to find somebody, but this gives us somebody temporarily, so we can actually
Right.
shop for somebody.
And then
And then it just so happened, it was basically like, we'll just try Kyle and
well,
see if it works.
what happened was we got a call. We got a call to open for Whistle Pigs
it
at
was
Blackthorn.
after Jordan left.
after Jordan left, and they were like,
No,
"Hey,
it's
we'd
a pretty big band, right?
they're pretty well known
in
in
bluegrass.
in
Time,
like
they
in
just
like,
had an album come out at the time too, and it was really good.
It was like right in that. It's like in that there was a label. I don't know if it's even still. Is it defunct or is it still around?
I
Mudstomp.
think it's still around somewhat. Yeah.
But there's a label that like Ben Miller Band was on, and Mountain Sprout from Eureka Springs, Dead Man Flats is on them. They're not together anymore. And then Whistle Pigs. And there were a few of these like kind of mud stomp bands that were all playing on this label, and they were the Whistle Pigs. They're from Illinois. They were playing Blackthorn, and they wanted someone to open for them. And so they hit us up, and they're like, hey, you guys have played here a couple times before. Do you want to come and open up for Whistle Pigs? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. And so I just told them yes, without even having something lined. I'm like, yeah, we'll be there.
I've done that.
No
more
problem.
Times.
We'll totally be there.
Well, you have a week to figure it out.
Well, no, we actually had like a good lead time. It was like a month or so.
Okay.
And we're like, yeah, we can totally do something by
But
then.
clock's ticking.
The clock's ticking, and so I was like, that's it. We're calling Kyle. Like, the guy's awesome. So he came over. I lived in this little double wide in Galena. And he came over the first night, and we played for him a couple different recordings of some bands we listened to, Hot Club of Cowtown out of Austin, and kind of showed him the bass style. Like, because you'd played stand-up. How long did you play stand-up?
I got my upright my senior year, like towards the end of my senior year. So 2006, middle of 2006.
Were you primarily playing just bow?
No, I played jazz, so I just pizzicato. I've never really did the bow thing.
Okay. So like he brought that over, and then like we're like, yeah, check this guy out. And I think the guy's name's Jake, the bass player for Hot Club. Like, this is kind of
somebody
what
you want to emulate.
Yeah, this is kind of like a style we really appreciate, and it's pretty popular. It's like a slap bass style.
It's a percussive thing. You know?
It is.
You got the bass note with the backbeat, the and so. And then you add the little double slaps in there and get a little fancy. But it's just a...
It's very aggressive.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
And that's what you were going for.
We're going for, and we're like, hey, man, I know that you haven't played this style before. This is kind of what we're going for. And so seriously, within like, I think it was like 15 minutes, you're kind of like watching it. You're kind of sitting there, and you kind of have your bass, and all of a sudden, you're like, you were double slapping before you left that night.
That's some good basic stuff down, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you've been playing since you're 9. You totally, like, out of the band, Kyle's the musical genius. Tyler's like,
No, I was
Agreed.
Like,
no, it's like anything stringed you put in your hand, it's pretty incredible. I feel pretty
you too.
I feel pretty privileged to play with you, man. It's just like
it's one of those things. It's I had a reputation as a good bass player coming into the band, but I got to see these guys at an element that a lot of our friends go to Winfield, but a lot of people I know haven't gone to Winfield. And so I got to see these guys in an element that is so crazy and fun, and just so I was admiring them. I'm like, man, I want to be a part of that, you know. And then so like there's two forces coming together, like you know what I mean? It was.
They call that a covalent bond.
Yes.
oh.
Tell us about this. Tell us more about this covalent bond.
Old Joe College over here.
Well, it's when electrons, blah, blah, blah.
Is this a porn genre?
I don't know. Let's find out. Google.
fact check that.
Yeah, I remember the first time
Covalent
hearing about
bonds.
Winfield. Josh Davis was telling me about it. And then you came back, Tyler came back, and we were at church, and he was talking about it, and he was just like glowing. Like he had this vibration
Come
about
back
him.
happier.
Yeah, he came. He
That's
just,
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, it's therapy.
Like a rock star.
But it's therapy too. I mean, at this point now, we're pretty decently known as far as like we usually get some pretty good slots
As far as the
and
campground bands, you know.
as the campground band, and we know like a lot of people there now.
Yeah.
And so it's like now it's not so much as like trying like when we first started playing, we were trying to like work to get ourselves like our name out there. Like the longer we go there,
It was like
it's
tiptoeing at first,
right.
And now
You're trying not to step on someone's toes and be like, oh, who are these kids trying to, make a ruckus or whatever. And now it's more like we know enough people that really we're just there just to have fun.
we
And
love them, they love us. It's just It's beautiful.
Yep.
There's no power shifts.
No,
struggles or whatnot,
you're not
it's
trying to
like
you're not trying to
make a name.
You're not trying to accomplish anything. You're not trying to sell merch. You're not trying to do any of that. You're just there to just have fun.
I did have a little fanboy moment this year at Winfield. I got there. I showed up before Jimmy and Tyler. Tyler showed up the same day I did, but later in the evening. Anyways, it was on Wednesday. Thursday, I find out the Kansas City Bear Fighters are playing Stage 5, and they're one of our favorites. And I run into the accordion player, in the
that Grant?
bathrooms. Yeah, you're up by the shower bathroom area. I was like, hey, I heard
Perfect.
you guys are playing stage 5. And he's putting up flyers for a festival for next month.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Porch Fest.
Yeah,
Do
Porch
it.
Fest. It's cool.
KC.
Yep. And so he's like, yeah, we might play stage 5. Our bass player isn't here. And I was like, oh man. And in the back of my mind, I want to be like, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Like,
right,
I didn't really.
It's Kyle's gonna
Choose
know.
me.
And he was just like, you might talk to Quinn. You might, and I think he was looking for you. And I get back to camp, and Quinn, the singer, he had stopped by camp trying to find me. And I was like, well, I already heard about it. So I went and found him,
Yeah.
grabbed my bass. We practiced over some few songs. What was cool is Jimmy and some friends were showing up. And I knew it was about that time, and so I was waiting on phone calls to get him to camp and all this and that. So he calls. I'm like, dude, just go to stage 5.
Right.
We'll get to camp later. Go to stage 5 right now. I'm getting ready to play with the Kansas City Bear Fighters. And I was just like in my back of my mind.
And I'm like, holy shit, I gotta be there.
And so yeah, they pull up Jimmy and Tyler, and they come backstage, hanging out, and got to just like it's Tragic Prelude first. Like when we first all get to Winfield, like 'cause a lot of times we don't travel together. When we first all get there, it's just like, oh, we're here, kind of a hug each other moment. And so they came back, we're all there, and then I played the set with the Kansas City River Fighters. Everything I thought went pretty good. It was a lot of fun. So that it was my fanboy moment. I think about it every day.
Dude, it was awesome.
that's dope.
I showed up and I'm just like, holy shit, Kyle was on stage with the Bear Fighters. This is the best.
Yeah, they were literally driving in and pulled over at stage 5.
I pulled my car over. I stopped.
Down
got
3
out.
beers.
I opened my cooler. I grabbed 3 beers. I grabbed another one to share. And then I walked over there. I'm just like, this is the best.
Right.
And then had somebody else drive his car to where it was being parked.
Of course, yes.
Responsibility.
Allegedly.
He left it there for the night and picked it up in the morning.
Walk of shame to stage 5. So let's talk about Winfield, because I've never been. Like, so how big is it? It's a bluegrass festival. I mean, what's the range of music? What's the range of bands? How long is it? Details as that.
I'd say it's anywhere. It gets about 10 to 15,000 people.
Good God.
It's huge. Some of the best the best flat pickers in the world are there.
Some of the best fiddle players, banjo players, hammer, dulcimer.
They have competitions with professional musicians. Amateurs.
My first year, we were camped across this guy who played hammer, dulcimer, and he was practicing, and he's really good. But we're like, how good is this guy? Like, this sounds great, but how good is he? Jimmy's brother Jordan went and watched the competition, and he came back because that guy's the champion. They're like, oh my God, he's the dude.
And that's all he did all day. He would just go out there and practice.
There's
for
a video
2 or
on
3
Facebook
hours.
circulating of a hammer dulcimer player. What song is he playing? It's been everywhere on Facebook here lately, and I looked it up, like the guy's name, and because it looked familiar. I looked it up the name, and he was the guy that won in 2010.
Way.
So I'm like, that's like the video that's going around viral. I'm like, yeah, I camped next to that guy, Winfield.
Yeah,
No big
right.
deal.
By the way,
We shook hands and everything. Actually, we didn't, but
maybe you did. Allegedly. So when they do the competitions, do they do a bunch of competitions? Is it like
it takes the whole festival. So the festival actually lasts from Wednesday to Sunday.
Okay.
There's 4 main stages, and
Okay.
so like 3 of them will have like a lot
Like stage 5 was not
stage
a main
5
stage?
Correct.
No, it's affiliated with the festival, but it's a campground stage.
Oh, okay.
Whereas independent, rowdy fun bands play.
Right. So you have the 4 main stages,
Yeah.
and then you have like all these break-off stages.
Well, then like the 4 main ones, like there's 3 of them that have just regular acts, but like there's the barn stage. It has where they have the competitions and stuff.
And that's all they do all the day is
just if you go to that stage,
and
competitions are
you're
going
gonna
on.
watch
And
competitions.
I've only really went and watched the flat picking competition one time, but
The flat picking is insane.
it is. And even just being in that room watching them guys, I'm nervous for them, like because I can only imagine.
How much focus?
Well,
Everybody's
it's super-
everybody listen. Nobody's talking. Everybody's listening. It's a deal. I mean,
It is. I mean, you think about like with us, if you drop a chord, it's not a problem.
Right.
It almost makes it's
fun.
It's more fun, yeah. If you drop a line in the music, it's kind of like, oh, you kind of laugh it off. It's just like that's part of this. It's just
Part of the
completely
live
natural.
show, yeah.
It's completely natural. Now, with the the competitions, I mean, I don't know. Did you ever participate in any music competitions in school or anything? Okay.
I did not.
I never did solos. I refused.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. I did a lot of solos in school. I mean, you learn the music, in and out. Like I did solo choir, piano, violin,
Memorize it,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You memorize it to a T, and you play it exactly the way exactly
to
the
the
right
best
way
of your
back.
abilities.
Right.
Yeah, and
And
so
that's
that's what these
basically what
guys are
they have.
doing. I mean, it's not like they're completely improvising. They're just sitting there and they are playing note by note. Like they know where they need to go, and they practice. And now there's like guys from Japan.
What?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
This is-
a
it's-
guy from Japan won it.
he's won it several years.
2-3
Yeah.
years ago, and he's good.
And the prizes aren't like you get a trophy.
Right.
If the first place winner gets a choice of, they have 3. Like if you're the flat picking champion, you get a choice of the guitar. They have 3 guitars.
That they give away.
They give away high dollar.
handmade,
We're
like,
talking
like-
one of a kind.
Total
not
custom.
not your like Fender or like Alvarez or those
They're
kind
like
of brands.
$8,500 guitars.
Like
or
something
more.
you've never heard of, but it's like it's
The
like the
best
best
ever.
guitar ever. Yeah.
Right.
And so the
Crazy.
first person
Everybody's
gets
mouse water. in
Yeah,
over
the first person gets to pick which of the 3 they want. The second person gets to pick which of the 2 they want, and the third person gets the last one. And then they get to perform at the main stage on Saturday night in like the prime slot. Each one of those 3 people,
just solo.
they get to usually they have like a rhythm guitar backup.
Yeah,
they can pick
in
an
the competitions.
accompaniment.
You get a choice of if you do. A lot of times they'll do 2 songs. Sometimes one with accompaniment, one without. But yeah, they perform the main stages. I'm sure they'll have somebody else with them.
Right.
It's-
Like,
So
what's the biggest way they fuck up? Like, do they just like miss a
I mean,
Well,
piece?
you,
I mean,
you,
like-
just, you just don't see these guys mess.
Flat picking is
Yeah,
I
like,
mean,
that's what I mean. Like, how do you decide who wins?
There's a panel of judges.
You know,
and it's
it's a-
self.
It's like
they-
figure skating. It's like what I mean, where there's someone.
Right.
The people who are watching know what to look for.
Right.
But for the layman, they're just like these guys are
just
incredible.
blatant.
us, we're just in awe.
And
of
Right.
whatever they
on the
do.
flat picking championships, it's all original pieces. All those guitarists write all
Really?
those pieces.
I
yeah.
didn't.
They
know.
write their portion of it.
They write their piece. Like the Japanese guy that wins it every couple of years, all those pieces are self-wrote by him. Like they're his
I don't think it's
piece.
a requirement though.
It's not a
I
requirement
don't
because
but
I've heard
I
them.
think a lot of them play a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of their original pieces.
Yeah, so that's in case if
It
you
may be
mess up, you're like, oh, I wrote that down.
Yeah, dude.
That's how it's supposed
I think they have to. Do they provide sheet music? I
I
wonder.
don't know.
I don't know. So that's like
Lord.
that's main stage
I
Winfield.
quit already.
Yeah, no way. No, I can't read music. So they that's like the main stages, and they bring in acts all over the world. They have like like when they say over the world, there's like groups from Ireland, there's groups from Australia.
When you first-
Tommy Emmanuel's
These are all
there.
bluegrass in some way.
Well, in some
Folky,
way,
a
it's
lot-
Americana, bluegrass, folk.
Right.
I mean, that's what it started as.
Main thing when you first get to Winfield, like going in the entry gate, there is a flag representing just about every country across the world.
Yeah.
in one
And-
flag.
No.
This
There's
is
all
a row
the
of-
flags. There's
Yeah. There's a flag representing every country. I mean, it's just you go down.
It's truly
and
international.
And it's cool as you'll see somebody from a different nationality and they'll be like taking a picture with their flag,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't even know what flag that is. I've never seen that. And then
Right.
you Google it or something, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's crazy. Where they're from.
Like, why the hell are they here? Like, I had to drive 3 hours, and I felt like it was a little bit of a burden.
We don't have to leave the state, and it's like, and so it's kind of funny. We tell people I'm going on vacation. I'm going to Winfield, Kansas.
Yeah,
like,
right.
why are you not leaving
Right.
Kansas? And
Right.
I'm like, you don't understand, but like people come from all over the world.
Yeah.
A tiny little town. Well, it's not tiny. It's a good sized town in the middle
It's
of
a good,
nowhere.
yeah,
Right.
it's a good sized town in the middle of nowhere. Exactly.
It's like a little Woodstock in a way because you guys take over fields and
Well, I mean,
camp
so
out
it's
and-
We
the
spread
tri-
out as
tri-
far as we can and take up. And
It's typically
Divide
it's
and conquer.
at the Winfield Fairgrounds, which is along the Walnut River, and it kind of wraps around like a little bit like a peninsula.
Yeah.
A little bit the way it's shaped, and so you have like basically the river borders the entire fairground. And so you have like the main stages that are happening, but then all along the outside edges, there's camping. It's in the Pecan Grove. This is actually like during the regular year, they have like a disc golf course there, and you can camp there and stuff like that. And it's
Right.
all open typically, but during the festival, this is all camping. They have the Pecan Grove and the Walnut Grove, and that's where you have just like this bombardment of people.
and they
They've been going for 45 years. I mean, it's 45 years
What?
old. Yeah,
I did not know that.
The festival is 45 years old.
the 45th year this year.
Wow.
And so people have been doing this, for 45 years. And it's obviously grown and it's changed
Right.
and become what it is now. Some things for the better, probably some folks probably say for the worse. But
My grandpa's brother went when it first started. He was very proficient. and
Year one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he was there year one, but he was there when it first, was getting going.
Right.
It was, it was big. I mean, it's always been big. It's always been the national championship thing for the flat pickers. and he was very proficient in a lot of was very proficient in a lot of stringed instruments, banjo, mandolin, guitar, and I don't know about violin probably, but even
He could be. If he's
even
not.
he was just like, he was real redneck, he's like all them hippies, smoking that dope out there and all this and that.
It is very much a hippie festival.
and
Really?
it's so it's this is kind of, to me, look, I can see his, I see his viewpoint because there's people like that, but it's like, to me, it's very sad that he had to see it that light, that
right.
he didn't get to. I mean, I'm hoping he enjoyed it, but apparently from his take on it was,
Right.
oh, them hippie dope smokers.
Right,
So
right,
that was,
right.
What's funny is you get a walk of every different.
You get,
know,
yes,
so many different people. So like you have
Everybody.
some folks that are there for tie dye and the hippie portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have people who like do just grow up in traditional bluegrass, where like I watched some pickers this year that blew me away, that they were so technical. It was like 2 a.m. on a Thursday night, and there were these like 4 or 5 people, and they were playing straight up traditional bluegrass, taking turns soloing around. I mean, they had fiddle, they had banjo, guitar, a bass, but it was like a acoustic bass instead of being like upright, like almost like mariachi style, like really
there
big.
There was a guy playing a mariachi
Yes.
bass I saw.
Yeah, and they were amazing, and they were like, "Did you guys just practice for months?" And they're like,
Was that to the north or south of us?
"No, I don't know." I got there, my
that
directions were all shot. I was just like, I don't know, where's the cooler?
But yeah, well, and what's cool is you'll see like maybe like your people that were like the real free spirits back in the '60s, but yet they grew up and like were decently
families
decently successful, and now they got money.
I mean-
and they might come back to Winfield and they got kind of
Right.
a nice camper or something, but they're still the same free spirits. Like
Right.
they see us young kids get out, we might get a little drunk or a little rowdy, and they
Reminisce.
You can
They
see
yeah,
a
oh,
light.
yeah.
You can see a light in their eye.
Right.
They're there. They laugh at us, but you can also see they see like
That was
we've
me.
been there.
That was
That
us.
was me
Yeah.
a couple of years.
What's
back
funny is
ago.
like, I think like there are a couple people that we camp with that are like doctors.
Oh.
Doctors, there's we through Winfield you meet people from every profession. As soon as you go there, you lose that badge that you typically wear every day,
Right, right.
and it's gone.
We're all in the same place, just doing
For the same
thing,
reason,
getting
too,
by.
you know?
Yeah, we're all so it's pretty like freeing that you don't have to sit there and like claim what you do
Right.
or what. None of that matters.
Right.
Like it's cool that you do have so many different professions represented, but it also is just like, no, we just dropped that at the door.
Right.
Like we're just here for Winfield.
Right. And that's why I'm here as well for Winfield. And that's what everyone's thinking.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're there for a common goal.
Oh, yeah.
play
You might
this
run into
instrument.
people that have like a similar profession and you kind of talk
Right.
shop.
Yeah.
You know, and so you'll be like, no way, you were just shredding, playing this,
Right.
but you and I do the same thing and we
Right.
can talk the same language outside of Winfield.
Right.
So like I met a Grant is that way.
Oh, Grant
From
Beal.
Designer?
Yeah.
He's not a designer, but he's an architectural engineer. And he was going through like some of the projects he was working on whenever he and I were waiting in the line to play for stage 7. And he and I were sitting there talking about it. It was raining. We're like huddled up underneath the tarp. Something came up about the new iPhone. And then after that, he and I started kind of rolling. And I'm like, yeah, I follow you on Twitter. And he was like, oh, sweet. And,
That's cool.
and so we're like kind of chatting about it. And he's like, oh, yeah. So I'm like, what the hell do you do? And he
Yeah.
started telling me, I'm like, dude, that's badass.
Huh.
Like, sweet. But even though I know you do that,
Right.
that's not your identity here.
Right.
Most places in normal culture, we're kind of, in normal life, we're kind of like defined by our jobs or whatever. But once you get there, it's kind of like, I know you play accordion.
Right. It makes me think of Burning Man. They have all the people from NASA that go to Burning Man.
I
And,
had a friend.
Elon Musk went to Burning Man.
yeah, just people you would never think of that would go out there.
I had a friend who he was only able to make it for I think Saturday at Winfield, but he was at Burning Man the week before.
That guy's
And-
getting around.
Dude,
And
was he still tripping balls?
Winfield, I thought I was at Burning Man. What the heck?
How
Where's
did
the
I get here?
desert? How come there's so many mosquitoes out here?
Yeah, I asked him how it was because I've always wondered about that, and I've never really was sure if that was my scene or too much. I was like, how was it? And he was like, I thought about you a lot while I was out there.
I imagine.
And he's
Feel
like,
like
there's
you-
a lot of things that I think you would enjoy. And I was like, really? I was like, that'd be. I mean, I asked him how much it was. It's a pricey thing.
It's $600.
Yeah.
Is it really?
That's the early bird price
I think.
too.
I think he said he paid. I thought he said he only paid $390 for his.
Maybe
ticket.
that's the early bird price,
Yeah,
and the full
but-
price is like 6 to 8.
Yeah,
and that's
but-
just not camping. That's not
But
anything else.
once
That's
you
just
get
getting in.
once you get there, you don't really need any money though, do you?
No, because it's all bartering and whatnot. There's no one charges you anything.
That's kind of the same at Winfield. Like there's a lot of times I get to Winfield after.
I've
paying
definitely
my-
bartered beer and cigarettes
yeah.
before.
What did you trade?
Huh?
I've
did you
traded
trade?
merch and stuff.
Yeah.
Like T-shirts,
Uh-huh.
stickers.
Yeah.
That's
Just,
cool.
Or you trade if you want something. Like you're like, oh, that's really sweet, dude. I love that T-shirt. Can I
Yeah,
trade you like 2 koozies and a sticker for it? Or you
That's
know,
cool.
you kind of find ways around it.
It's and then, like I've gotten there like and after paying to get in and like what little money I have left, like you have to buy ice just about every day or so
Yeah,
and like
right.
things like that. I really like I don't have any like I'm going home with no money. Like there's like
Right.
there are times like I'm going home with like there was the guy offered me some money for my last of my beers and I was just gonna give it to him
Right.
because to be nice
Right.
and then I had to think I was like I don't have any gas money
Oh, to even get
and I was
home.
like hey man I will take you up on that money. I was like I need
I think
to
that's
get
the
home.
first time I ever heard someone taking money for beer at Winfield.
And I was like, I need
It's
it.
the
And the thing was, it was we barred me. And it was our friend Craig Ainsworth. He's not with us anymore. God rest his soul. I showed up at Winfield and we bartered the first day, and he traded me some PBRs. And
That's
they
high
sa-
value, right?
Well, they sat in the cooler. I don't drink PBR myself, and they sat in the cooler. And so, at the end of the week, a couple of the beers he was getting back were ones he bartered with me
From day one.
day one.
So Greg is who you bartered with at the end.
Craig
He
is the
bartered
one-
his own beer. So.
Yes, Craig is the one that taught me about bartering at Winfield. We bartered pottery pieces. Like one time,
Shirts for half grass.
we bartered like smokable things and shirts and one time like Jimmy showed up and I was like, hey Jimmy, I promised merch to a guy. I've bartered and since you're here with my bartering stuff,
Can you finish this transaction?
yeah, you owe that guy a T-shirt over there.
Yeah, he needs a T-shirt and he also needs like whatever other stuff we have.
Give him your cell phone,
Yeah.
So if I were to go to Winfield, what's the most valuable bartering item I should bring along?
Cigarettes.
Really?
In beer.
What kind of
It
cigarettes?
depends. It depends on what you. Depends.
American Spirit cigarettes.
Oh my
I feel
God.
like you could totally
It-
just
it
like.
depends
Buy them in bulk.
You can
depends
bring
on-
Roll
it.
your own before
Homegrown?
you
I was
go.
gonna say homegrown. Yeah.
Oh no! If you had weed,
No, homegrown
okay.
tobacco.
I was saying if you had weed, that would be the ultimate
Well,
bargaining tool.
here's the deal. Like, are you looking for a short term like?
I want to make
short-term
it from day one
or-
to the last.
like a
day.
long term bartering thing. Like to
Long-term
have
bartering.
like
Mushrooms.
firewood. And I love how
My
I'm
brain
giving,
just split in two. Right
I love how I'm giving that answer. And Jimmy's
Usually it should be the
opposite.
firewood.
I'm looking at the whole.
Wait,
I'm not looking
well,
at myself.
because-
I'm looking at like what would actually make some really
We got-
significant money at Winfield.
we got
I feel
in-
like if you sold psychedelics, that you would make some money.
Oh well, yes.
It would be very
Yes.
tradable.
Because there's that hippie crowd there.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
But we got into a
not
very-
pharmaceuticals though.
No one likes the pills?
I don't know.
I mean,
I've never
open up
taken
shop.
pills at
you
Winfield.
take them for what you need them for.
I'm opening up shot next
You need
year.
to stay up all night.
Xannies, get your Xannies.
Hey, but like it's we got into a camp of people, the first year, and like we showed up and we just kind of by chance ended up camping with them, and we had a bunch of firewood, and that right there off the bat, they were like, "These guys got firewood!" Like,
Oh, is that a rainbow?
yeah, because if you have to buy firewood there, it gets pricey. So we always
I've never bought firewood there.
I had to buy one little
Bundle for
yeah,
$5.
or $7, I think. Is
Oh
what it was.
gosh.
And it's
get,
not
like,
that
4
much wood.
logs.
Yeah, it's not that much. But yeah, so you bring firewood. I mean, that's your cooking. That's your
Right,
your
right.
sustainable light source at night. Your heat.
No one sets up shop like a tent, like sells firewood.
I mean, you could.
Well, the thing is,
I feel like Ben would do that really well.
The thing is, I don't know what the festival. You can't like if you're gonna sell
Oh,
things,
I
you gotta
forgot.
be.
That's what I was gonna
No. The problem is that they don't like you to bring outside wood in because it's in the pecan grove and they don't want it to infect the trees.
Yeah, but we do.
Allegedly.
We just infect
We
the shit
infect
out of
those
them.
trees.
Go ahead there, little nymph. Eat them up.
Sometimes I just take a piece of wood and I go and rub it on one of the trees, and
Because you're on mushrooms, you don't know what you're doing.
it feels great.
Tyler's been so quiet.
He's just thinking about the
Look at this
rollerblading
flat
earlier.
line over here.
Tyler, tell us a story.
I was just listening to what you guys were talking about. This is great. It's just like any Tragic Prelude show. Tyler
Here's a
just
little
sits back.
topic. Tyler, talk about some of the gigs we've done.
Oh my, we played a lot of shows over the years. Let's see. The first, I've got a really good one for Cedarville trips are great always.
Played for high school fundraisers out at Cedarville.
One of my favorite Tragic Prelude show story was the one we went to Kansas City and played a show. And we played I don't remember where we played. It was a small bar.
Was it Davies?
Maybe, I don't remember. Anyways, Ben DeBus got really, really drunk on the Marine's birthday.
Yeah.
That was Davies Uptown Ramblers Club.
He was getting pitchers
Handouts.
and shots. Like he was getting a pitcher of beer and a shot each time for Marine Corps birthday.
Lord.
And
It was Marine Corps birthday.
and I was driving home. We got everything loaded up, and we were like, Kyle asked Ben, he's like, "Are you all right?"
No, I asked, "Where's Ben?" And I was pointing
Ben is
direction.
absent at this point.
Oh, he was sitting at the bar with his debit card on his head,
His
and
other
he
arm
was on
straight out.
his head was on the bar. He was like, just like.
It's a great way to get your ass kicked out of a
And
bar.
so I grabbed the debit card. I'm like, give it, like, come on, check him up. We were carrying
Basically,
him
like,
out.
we got to get him out, and all bars have the back camera and the little TV in there, so like little security cameras, and they're just like watching us like drag. Ben always has his composure about him, but not
It
unfortunately
took
not
two
that
of us
night.
to carry him out.
Wow.
And Ben was struggling, and we load him up in the truck, and we're driving our buddy Ryan Kern's truck. And Ryan Kern at that time was on a little a stint where like we go places. He's like, "I'm staying here."
Yeah, he did do that.
So he stayed in Kansas City that night.
Did he?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
staying?
Yeah. We
And then
he had a friend. There was a friend there of his, and he stayed
she
with her
brought
for
him
like
back
3
to
days.
Pittsburgh the next day.
Yeah.
But this is why I mentioned it. Like we're driving Ryan's truck. Like
Right.
okay, so we're in somebody else's vehicle.
I'm driving.
And and he's no longer with us. He's like stayed there in Kansas City. So we're just in his truck.
and there's four of us,
And we're going to McDonald's to get something to eat.
which
like,
is
at
right
night.
across the street, mind you.
Yeah.
From the bar.
That catty
From the
corner.
bar.
Yeah.
And Ben starts to like, and I'm like, hold it in, Ben. Hold
And
it.
I'm like, I'm trying to get in the parking lot as fast as I can so I can slam on the
Ben
brakes and open the door.
just vomits in the truck.
And right in the rear floorboard.
And so like
Right next to me.
McDonald's is not that great, period. But going into the McDonald's drive-thru
Smelling
with
like-
whiskey vomit smell,
Oh yeah.
and
It didn't smell like. It was mostly just.
Whiskey
smell like
smell.
whiskey.
It
It
smelled
really
like
smelled
whiskey
like
until you got to
whiskey
about.
Whiskey
stomach-
and bile.
whiskey and stomach acid. Yeah,
It smelled like whiskey to me. I drove and I was sober.
Yeah.
It smelled like whiskey until about Pittsburgh. Once you got to Pittsburgh, it started
Fermented a little
it started smelling like vomit. So.
What was bad is that then the next day, like he puked. It was like all my guitar strings were in the front part, like in the little pocket behind the seat, and he vomited into the seat. It vomited into that pocket. So I went to go like, oh my god, cool, I'll go grab my guitar strings, and I like reached in there, and it's just vomit.
Wow. Well, that's what's is we didn't like, oh, let's stop and clean it. We just drove
We're like, screw it, it'll be all right.
vomit everywhere.
Well,
Vomit.
we went ahead and went through the McDonald's drive-thru. We're like, yeah, we got vomit in the bag, but don't worry about it.
We need a couple of double cheeseburgers, please.
Oh man,
We're
yeah.
fucking starving.
I was just hoping we were going to get pulled over because how could you believe I hadn't been drinking? It smelled like whiskey in the truck.
In hindsight, Curran, smart man.
He
bailed.
He's like, Ben's pretty
And-
drunk.
I'm out on this.
And the person he stayed with drove him down here. He didn't have to like, hey man, could you come get me? I'm in Kansas City.
Right.
No,
No.
like they drove him all the way down here.
Ryan's got the hookups, man.
Wait, how do you feel about his truck?
I don't know that he even
wait.
aست about it.
Yeah.
We kind of cleaned it up a little.
Oh, okay, right.
I didn't.
3 days goes by, that stuff dries.
Let the windows
No
down,
noticing of
airs
that.
out. It'll be
Dried
all right.
vomit's much easier to clean up.
Just spray it with some.
I just
Clorox
prefer to
or something.
puke in the grass.
Yeah.
Go send it
Yeah,
back to the earth.
possible.
Yeah.
What's bad is when Ben threw up in the back, we finally got the doors open, and he's leaning over the outside of the truck throwing up too. And now then he finishes up, he's like, hoorah!
Has anybody else have you ever thrown up at a gig? Not at
Surely.
Winfield. Not at Winfield.
Oh, then
Winfield
Oh, I've
doesn't count.
never thought about a gig.
I've never thrown up at a gig either.
Jimmy, no, you did in Baxter, our very
Nope.
first show. Oh no, Kenny.
That
did.
was Kenny.
Because he was nervous?
No,
No,
'cause
they
he
got
drank
completely
No,
trashed.
God.
I was
All right, so
I
get
was
this, all right.
underage. I
On
was
the-
like, what
the worst for. All
right, here we go. The
worst first show idea ever.
All right,
Oh, this is
so
what we were talking about earlier.
all right, so this is. I don't know if we weren't talking about this earlier.
Taking the shots?
No.
The snops?
Yes.
No.
You mentioned it earlier.
This was
Oh, I did. Earl, I did.
that was
did I?
311 Club. That was 311 Club.
Oh no, that
Oh,
was
this
another
is
show. That was another show.
Multiple occasions.
we get
All right,
drunk.
no. All right, so this is probably our very first show
It was.
with Kenny. So like, all right, I feel like we're like doing different timelines here, but let's go back to. It was me and Tyler. Kenny joined the band. We went to Winfield, and there was the year that we went. We didn't play at all, and Kenny was there with us. And there's a element of Winfield that if you want to, you can get into playing rowdy songs, get completely wasted, and people love it. I mean, it's total bar music at that point. And so we're 21.
I wasn't.
You were underage at that point. And so I think I had just turned 21, and like I'd never drank Winfield before that year. Like
And
the
it was
first year we went, we were completely sober.
Right.
We didn't like we weren't trying.
You're just scouting out.
We weren't
Year
trying to.
one.
We weren't trying to find ways to get.
And we literally
get-
just started playing.
They brought that up this year at Fine Time. The Tragic Prelude boys.
a bunch of Christian rockers.
Talking about their first year was the last time it floated. they were playing Christian rock music, made everybody feel good.
Like our first year, like that's how great this thing is. Like we're making jokes about how like we're trading beers or you're doing this and doing that.
yeah.
You can go to Winfield and be stone cold sober and it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like
We
our
did it.
first year, we went the first year stone cold sober, up till 4 a.m. every night, watching great bands, seeing everybody else drinking. Didn't even phase us.
Nope. And three dudes went and with a loaf of bread, a thing of apples, a thing of bananas.
That's what we did. Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly, and we lived
You made
off
it
of
through.
it.
Yeah.
We made it.
And
It
just
cost
had,
us all like $5 a piece plus the tickets and stuff to get.
Yeah. So what happened was the second year we went, we were a little more prepared for the rowdiness.
Right.
And like it drew us in. I mean, that year was like, it was a premium year too, because there were a lot of bands that were bigger that didn't end up coming after that.
It's
Yeah,
because
bands-
golden time. of
It was.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
bands
that
that
Mudstomp
inspired
era.
our playing, basically,
Like,
in all reality.
Golden
So-
Mountain's a
Spr-
band?
well, no, of like, so
bands. Some of the
That
bands
year-
that were there when we first started playing don't play there anymore.
because it's not lucrative. They got too big.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so it's not lucrative because you don't make any money. This is
I mean,
just a festival. It's just for fun. I
It's-
mean,
they do it for jobs. A lot of bands do it for jobs, and understandably so. They got to make money.
they're like, we could make way more money playing Chicago
right.
tonight.
I mean, think about happening if you had to spend at least, I mean, even a quarter of what you were going to make for the week and lose out on that just to go to a festival and not make any money. I mean,
Right.
Just
Which
tough.
it's a business decision.
It is.
tough.
It was a
It
business decision, and so, but when we were there, it was good for them at that point because they were making their name really well known.
But
They
that was
were
back
probably-
then too. They didn't really overly frown upon selling merch in the campgrounds either.
well,
that was
you
that
could
was
do
this-
it. You could do it without everybody knowing about it. You know,
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
It's-
The
it's-
They
black
held
market
it.
merch.
Stage 7 our first year. They were like literally had a merch table.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
they
don't
did
like
that
that
for-
now.
Really?
Like up until like 2011, I think they allowed an actual merch table at Winfield.
Yeah.
Because I remember getting caught up after playing shows.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
30
I brought-
minutes to an
I-
hour talking to people. Like
Drakkar
after-
Sauna had one at the first year we went to, and I bought a T-shirt and a couple CDs.
But I noticed in 2010 a lot of bands there that I didn't see in 2011.
Right.
Like,
2010 was like a really good year where they had like Ben Miller Band was there, Mountain Sprite was there, Whistle Pigs were there. There were like a ton of these
Dead
like
Man.
Dead Man
quintessential,
Flats,
yeah.
but Dead Man Flats kind of stayed there every year, and
Fast
Whistle
Food
Pigs
helped-
came. Whistle Pigs
Fast
came
Food
back.
Junkies.
After
They came back a little bit,
Okay.
but it was like
Yeah.
that was the year that everyone was there. They were all playing shows, Fast Food Junkies. They were all playing shows, but they were rowdy. And so like we came away with it like, oh cool, if we want to do this, we got to get just crazy. And so this is our first big mistake.
Oh, no.
The biggest mistake we ever made.
Baxter
So,
Springs, Kansas.
Baxter Springs, Kansas. We're talking a town of what, 2,500, 3,000 people?
Sure.
No, man. We're up. Well, used to be upwards around 5,000. It's probably 4,500 now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry,
We're
you're a Baxter
we're like 4
lifer.
or 5A now.
I've only.
I think we jumped from 3A to 4A now.
Did we really?
I think so.
Okay, well,
I think they changed.
I've
the
only lived here
regulations.
5 years. You're a lifer, so
I don't know how to take that.
it's a good thing.
Compliment.
Dude.
I'm still living in my childhood home. I've taken it over.
Taken?
I've taken
Taken
my,
it over?
Yeah, I've taken my childhood home over.
You've
Easy
completed
grammar
the
Nazi.
cycle.
I commandeered it. Basically,
You've completed the cycle of adulthood. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good.
I go
So
there.
But he had to kill his father to get it. This part of it.
The president of the KSGA is
And
It's
live in
now
this
me.
house.
he's in the
No,
basement.
He's still my dad. I think he's my real dad too. I'm pretty sure.
So far, everything checks out.
Yeah.
So anyway, I worked at a restaurant here in town, and they had like a couple like banquet rooms, and they so they had this event downtown where it was like kind of like like Oktoberfest kind of thing.
yeah.
It was the first time they were ever going to have a beer garden at any sort of festival in Baxter.
Right. I mean, you have to think about this, and even now it's still this way. You can't buy. No, they changed the laws.
Yeah.
You can.
They
you
used to be
couldn't-
really strict.
They used to be really strict on alcohol laws. You still can't buy like regular
City
strength.
laws. City laws.
This is
Or can
Cities.
state
Cherokee
laws.
County.
Oh,
The city.
county
I think
laws.
city.
Is it city?
City, county. I think it's a city.
Right.
Yeah, where if you're gonna buy beer, it has to be 3.2 at the gas station or a grocery store. At
You
you
not be able
couldn't
to buy on Sundays.
you couldn't sell
Right,
at the
right.
restaurant I worked at. You could only sell 3.2 beer. You couldn't sell like wine or liquor or anything. You could only sell 3.2 beer.
At one point, the liquor stores couldn't even be open like holidays, like even 4th of July. 4th of July, I remember like going to the liquor store and they were like, there was a closed sign, and like obviously the
You still
owners
can't
were
buy
very-
beer until
very mad.
afternoon on Sunday.
Yeah, that's true.
But when they passed the holiday law, that was the big one. It's like 4th of July, like
Lord.
we have to like shut it down. I'm like,
Yeah, but we can cheat. We can go to Joplin.
yeah,
Right. So what happens is they're like, all right, cool, we're gonna do this beer garden at the place that I worked. Is like halfway in the route, and so they're like, yeah, we got this banquet room. You like playing a band now, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I play in a band. And they're like, awesome, we'd love you to play the beer
We've been
garden.
playing like a month and a half.
We hadn't played very long at all, and so
Right.
we're talking like playing with stands and sheet music.
You still have memories of Winfield and how crazy it
Oh
was.
yeah, we're still like
Yeah, we
Buzzing.
haven't even played at Winfield yet.
Right,
Yeah,
but he was
this is
saying in
before-
2010 how crazy it was. And
yeah. This
right.
is before we'd ever played at Winfield or anything, and so like we had maybe played like with Kenny. I mean, we probably played every night because at that point we didn't have like real responsibilities, so we were playing as much as we could, but like not really practice, not
Yeah.
not like we didn't have like I don't think we had like maybe
no
like, one or-
organization, just
Yeah.
kind of.
We had like
maybe
we had,
one or two original songs. Two original songs.
I don't.
Yeah, we had two
maybe-
because Jared and I wrote two.
Yeah, we played on that 2009 on the street. You and I did.
2010.
on the street.
2009, 2010 was the first year with Kenny.
Oh, okay. So this is after 2009, then I guess.
And so so we were playing this show. We barely we had like two original songs. We had some covers.
We had a lot of covers.
Enough to play this beer
we were
garden.
mostly just playing the covers of the people we'd seen at Winfield.
Oh wow.
And so we were like transcribed. Tyler like vigorously transcribed all their lyrics and all their chords. We like got all this like tablature set up, and we like we've got our little music stands and everything, but the thing is that we had seen this like wild lifestyle at Winfield, like of these rowdy guys, and so we're like, oh, that has to be us. And so we roll in like flannels unbuttoned, bare chested. Kenny's wearing overalls that he's like got one strap down, just like man boob hanging out.
Yeah, no shirt.
And Jimmy and Kenny's been drinking like all
Like,
afternoon.
no, because I had worked that afternoon, so I like hit
all
it.
I remember is
Jimmy
had a
being
flask at work.
ferociously drunk. I mean, ferociously drunk.
I was not as drunk as Kenny was.
He was
because
monstrous.
We were
Kenny,
drunk enough to sing "Darling Nikki." And
yeah, we did. We did a cover of Prince's "Darling
Okay,
Nikki."
Were
Is
you more
horribly
Jimmy
dirty.
jamming or were you drunk?
I was just done.
Oof, it was bad.
I was done. And here's the thing: is that Kenny?
I got pissed. I was a sober one. I was like,
He was completely sober. He was like 20,
manager.
and so he was like totally just mad at us. But we got up there and sang the most offensive songs. Like we're singing like they were songs we'd heard at Winfield, but they
fit at Winfield?
They fit at Winfield, but they
not-
did not fit here. And so people
well,
were like
especially
there.
during a show that we were playing that had probably 20 people from church in it.
Yeah, because at the time he and I were playing worship
group.
on Sunday mornings.
And they're like, well, they're playing some music. Let's go listen.
We're like, hey, we're playing at the beer garden, and everyone showed up, and we just made asses of ourselves.
Basically, how much can we piss people
Literally,
off?
Oh
people,
yeah,
some
but
people
we were
didn't come
so
watch us for
dumb. We
years.
were not self-aware at all to realize our surroundings, and we were just like, "Oh, people are gonna love this. We loved it at Winfield," and we just so Kenny gets trashed. We take a break because he bought peppermint schnapps, but instead of buying Doc McGillicuddy's, which is wonderfully about what 30%? No, that's less than that.
It's
About 25, 30%.
It's 25. It's pretty low.
25, yeah.
It's not 90 proof.
I get the 90 proof, man. I always get the 90 proof.
Okay, well this is Kenny.
Hiram Walker.
We're on your
Hiram
level,
Walker.
Kyle.
This is what Kenny got.
Drink
was the
a
Hiram
shot
Walker.
every morning when you get out of bed at Winfield and go to the porta potties.
Well, yeah, I mean that's mouthwash, right? So, so what happens is Kenny just downing this while we're playing,
I'm craving some schnapps.
so Kenny ends up like sneaking out, shedding like he was wearing. I guess he started out the show wearing a shirt, sheds the shirt. Both straps of the overalls are down. He's sleeping and puking out the back of his Jeep. And we're like, hey, dude,
Sleeping.
Well,
and
we got to
puking.
go back on.
we gotta go play some more tunes. And he's like, oh, let's go.
my
And we go back in there, and we're just like, just offending everyone.
Well, what's the crowd doing at this point?
I'm surprised we had one.
They were supporting us because they like knew us.
Right.
And they're like,
but they
oh
just
no,
didn't
we'll
wanna be
keep
there.
going.
It
Maybe
wasn't
it'll get better.
profanity. It wasn't profanity as much as.
No, it was
Oh, no, it
profane
was
and
bad.
awful and rude and
wasn't a-
terrible. It was like we wouldn't play these songs now.
The quality of music wasn't the problem. It was the
Content.
The content.
The content of its character.
Best case scenario there is like they were supporting you, but once you started playing, they just like quit listening and talked amongst
But they
themselves.
didn't,
Oh,
and,
really?
and they were just like immensely offended.
It took years
Like-
to earn some of their.
Did they
some of their
tell you guys
business
anything?
again.
Like,
No,
hey,
I
that
showed
show
up to
on
church the
Baxter.
next morning.
Yeah.
I had to play worship the next morning.
And then they gave you dirty looks.
Our pastor walked up to me and said, interesting show last night. And I'm like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. He's like, no.
No.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, you guys probably, and like kind of gave me a little bit of a lecture.
Whoa.
And I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Is that the first time you kind of realized that?
I was like,
maybe we made a
holy
mistake?
shit, we made a mistake. And so we lived in the shadow of that terrible show. Like we were just young and dumb. I mean,
What's really bad is we've also had situations at Winfield. I remember we have a song that we basically only play there, maybe occasionally at bars when we get really, really drunk. And
or if
the crowd is really
if the
crowd is
if the
very-
crowd's really drunk, it's not really us. It's just like if the crowd's really drunk and they're into it, we play a song called "All Messed
That's
Up,"
what I
which
meant.
can be edited to be all effed up.
and
And
we,
it's just
Depending on the alcohol
it's
content of your blood.
it's just a party song.
right.
It's
and
totally like
we played it before
It's a
with there's
dance
people
tune.
in the crowd. I didn't.
All fucked up.
Bud DeBusk, Ben DeBusk's dad. He one time he goes, you realize the pastor is out in the crowd and you're singing that song. And I was like, oh God. And I went over. I remember walking over and I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he's like, I don't care. It's not that big a deal. You're like you're in this little niche. It's okay. Like, is this part of the
Right.
culture?
I forgive you.
There's an
But
understanding.
there's a
yeah.
difference between being there and being
Well,
and being in
back.
Baxter whenever you're in this low key, like it was just like a
Yeah.
little Oktoberfest event, like
Right.
downtown. Kids are doing hay rides outside the front door, and we're in there just getting rowdy and done.
Well, Kenny's on his deathbed in the back of his car.
I grew up playing music with my dad's older friends, so I never like
Got to drink and play.
I well, actually, no, my first bar gigs were like 16, 17. And you know, so like I grew up not being able to drink at gigs, and like, so I guess I was just a professional.
That's in your genes, though.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I got 21. Trust me, I've had several gigs that I've used my 21 card and been very drunk at.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
The man, we've got so many great shows over the years. We used to play a whole bunch, and so what's really funny is like all my shows mend together in my head.
We've played a lot. We've played a lot of like we've been. Pull something off my shoe. I don't know what it is. I think it was a piece of grass, but had something else connected to it. But anyways, so yeah, we played a lot of shows. Like we played some town festivals, like serious things, like big
Right.
things. You know, Crossroads. We played at Crossroads for the Kansas Chainsaw.
Massacre.
No, it's the Missouri Chainsaw guy. There's a Missouri
Yeah,
Chainsaw Massacre.
Crossroads in
But
Kansas City.
we've done,
Okay.
you know,
We
we've
played
done
there.
we've done things that are very lighthearted. We played in the corner of a pizza parlor, on every Thursday night for a while. Like no PA, just everybody like
just doing right.
And just things like that. Like there's been times where I almost feel like Flight of the Conchords was like weird gigs we've done. But it's fun. We always, and sometimes like the more lighthearted gigs that you may not even get paid for. Jimmy's making cocktails if you can't hear it.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy, for the one
supplying the.
When you don't hear Jimmy talking, he's making a drink. A drink.
Tonight's drink,
not just for
sponsored by
himself,
the
for
Adams
all of
household.
us. For all of us. But so. What was I saying?
You were saying how the diversity of all your gigs that you've played.
Oh yeah,
throughout
yeah.
the
Sometimes
years.
the ones that don't pay, that are like no pressure, we can like really let loose and have a lot of fun, and sometimes just get really goofy.
Are you trying to experiment anytime when you do those kind of things? Like,
oh yeah,
let me try a solo, or let me try to
my
drink another
personal
beer.
goal in Tragic Prelude is to like for us like if we're having fun, the crowd's having fun. I try to I try to get things going where we feed off this energy, and like I want to make these guys laugh. I want to make them laugh so hard, and sometimes it's not just like I might start it,
right,
but then they'll join in, and then we're just making each other laugh so hard,
right,
that we have to stop a song. We literally have to stop a song, and we're just like literally just crying, laughing, and the crowd at that point
loves it.
They're crying, laughing too.
Right.
And the thing is, it's not like the song is dead.
Right.
It's like
they ruined the song.
We're gonna laugh it out, and then we're going right back into it. And we're right back.
It's almost like
into
that laugh takes it to the next level.
Oh yeah, Tragic Prelude has been the one constant band that I've been in that I could say anything can happen. Like we'll do things musically we'll do things we've never practiced, whether it be like me and Jimmy will look and like we're just gonna drop out and let Tyler just play by himself for a little while, like, and then we'll come back in. Or sometimes I'll just drop out and it'll be acoustic guitar and banjo, or just you never know what we're gonna do. It's and just things being just a 3-piece playing what some people might call a simpler style of music, and also be it that we're not playing like technically like real technical like bluegrass chops. We still make a jam out of it that is interesting for people to hear.
Right.
And
Really,
sometimes you'll hear that more at places like the smaller gigs. Then like we played Downstream Casino 4 times in 1 year, and they were great gigs, but you didn't get to
They
see.
paid great.
You didn't get to, and they fed us, and you didn't get to see our self-expression so much. I mean,
Right.
like
You can't relax.
All we're
It's
trying to
like
do is
that.
pump through songs, keep people mildly entertained, and keep going. They don't. It's not
Well,
what they
and you
want to
can't,
feel.
I
like
will
when
say
you play
this,
shows
though.
like that, you can't drink or anything like that, so you
Right.
can't get loosened
the
up.
crowds at Downstream though, like when we'd play there, we'd surprisingly end up with a pretty good draw at the bar. I don't know if people like there was a lot of people that come to see us, but I think we would also get a lot of the ear of people walking by, and there have been times we play, and by the end of the night, the crowd is a drunk fest. They would
Mission successful.
they would like feed off like this is drinking music,
Right.
And like they would just the crowd would be a drunk fest, and like I'm like, man, they're getting after it. Go for it. Good
Some
crowd.
people don't know how to react to that kind of band, that high tempo type of
And
music.
I've heard
you know?
there's been people I've heard that like heard it for the first time, and they're like, that music made me want to drink some beer.
Yeah,
I wanted to just like sit there and party, and I'm like, that's
fair enough.
the goal.
This is what I was born into.
One of my favorite things about when we play music, he was talking about how we ad-lib stuff and stuff like that. Like it's one of the coolest things about our music. It really bugs me because I love playing our music, so I like to play it all the time. If I'm free, I would love to play a show kind of thing. But some of the most amazing things happens with our music after we don't play for a while.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's for sure.
Because like we've all played like Wells Driller. We played that song.
That's a great song, by the way.
If we haven't played it 150 times, we hadn't played
What's
it once.
funny is we played
Right.
it, we
And
played
so-
it 1,000 times, and then we added a solo section.
Right.
And it's just like
That much better.
Then it just got over the top, and then
It's crazy things happen because you get so you get caught in the monotony of life sometimes. So if you're doing the same things all the time, sometimes you get caught playing it the same exact way.
Right.
When
no
after
room
some-
for expression. Or,
Right, and after
Actually-
some break, you don't remember exactly how you played it the last time.
What's
And
funny
so you kind of
is that something like if we're going back to our choral background, that's something that we were taught. I don't know if you remember this when we were in choir in high school. That Randy taught us that.
Oh, not practice.
That
to
if
forget
you're
your
if you're gonna
mistakes?
sing this, if like there were a lot of times whenever you may sing the same phrase or same like basically same notes, phrasing the same, and so you might sing that over and over and over. Don't sing it the same way twice, is what they were always told.
When you're practicing.
Yeah.
I
Oh no, whenever you're performing, and so like you might make this one swell with the with the dynamics might swell a little more and come back, and then the next time you're going to play it more more undertone, you're going to be more soft, and you're going to change that and give it a little ebb and flow, which is how we approach. I mean, especially a song like Well Driller, where like there are times whenever like my style of guitar is not. I'm not technical in any way. I'm very rhythmic.
Nobody's gonna beat the guitar like Jimmy, but Jimmy's not gonna go out there and play some virtuoso riffs.
No, I'm not.
Nobody's, but I personally don't know nobody that beats the guitar like he does. I mean, it's unique.
Part of being able to beat the guitar for me is to know, okay, yes, my style is definitely very rhythmic, but that means that I need to treat this like I'm doing the phrasing I did in choir, where I'm not gonna play it the same way each phrase. So that means that this time, yes, I'm going to play a little, really fast. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring it back down and let another instrument come out. And it's kind of like almost like you're doing like you have your own orchestra where we've got a 3-piece orchestra where like each person swells and comes down, another one comes up. And it's like a nice little wave coming through of each instrument working its way into the overall song.
As far as our backgrounds goes, music, like I have to say that we, the music director they had later in high school, I had early on in my school career, and he left Baxter to go to Riverton. So there's a lot of things that like they are like,
Crossing over that you remember.
I remember rehearsals. Randy Byer, he might. Every time we play a song, he might do a little part differently. Even the performance, he might feel it differently. We do a bigger swell or a crescendo somewhere or something, or the retard would be slow, like brought down even slower than it would normally, and things like that.
And we definitely take that in.
It always do it differently, so that's problem. I mean, that has to cross over, like for all of us, like that how we click together. But we're very like-minded in what we want it to sound like, and it's like not. It's one of those things like. Not something like we've ever really talked about.
And we never even question anything that happens when we play music. It's just like, oh yeah, I like how that worked tonight.
Right,
like, that was cool.
or even mid song,
you'll
get the feel that like Kyle. We all know we have the similar ear to hear what part needs to come next. Like the anticipation for it. It's really strange that we can like have that foresight. And so there'll be times whenever Kyle and I are feeling that we'll kind of like sometimes we don't have to look at each other. We'll just kind of both we're like, oh, okay, wait a minute, Tyler's doing something here, and then that means that I need to step back.
It's funny,
and then Kyle will just like he'll ease back, and we'll just kind of just like it becomes its own entity.
We do that a lot on opening song that we do, like it's like Tyler, because a lot of times you're just strumming.
What's the name of that one?
I don't know.
It's
an old traditional song,
but you're doing full on rhythm, and I'm doing full on double slaps, and then we bring it down to where you're just chunk, and I'm doing the single slap stuff, and it brings it nice down to let Tyler be free and like let that sound come out for a while until we bring the background up a little bit.
It's really cool how we can we literally at one point we went like 8 months without playing a show, like at one point.
Yeah, maybe after Teddy was born or. Close.
We went like 8
after.
months without playing a show, and
the first show we played was really just kind of an out of nowhere thing.
And
like
so we didn't really have time to practice. We played
nice.
we played like an hour before the show. Like we got here at Jimmy's house, we played like an hour. We're like, I guess that's good enough. We went to the show, and like it's just wicked tight. Like
what's fun?
We play really, really well together.
They had a little music festival. They're gonna have music in like a different spot of campus every night. And that night we were scheduled to play was supposed to be at the president's house outside. Yeah. Well, it like weather permitting, it didn't happen, so they had us play at the Bicknell Center.
Oh no!
And so that was really cool. Like brand new facility.
Right.
I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends, that would go to school up there. A lot of friends that are involved in things up there. And I'm like, I got to play the Bicknell Center before you did. Like a lot of them played it now.
They also had a really great green room.
It was amazing.
Can we spend about 5 minutes talking about shitty green rooms and what it's like
let's
to
talk
be
about this one. They had a TV. Like there was a guy, Lemuel Shepard, that went on before us, great blues singer, like and had some really cool. Like we mixed perfect with him. He had a song about meatballs. And I'm like, this is like, and Andrea, she got to like,
Right.
my wife, she was out in the crowd. She,
Oh, your wife.
Yeah.
It's so funny hearing you say that.
she got the, I got married 6 months in one day, everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We got, she, we were talking, she's like, that guy was awesome, but like, we got to hear him and see him on it. They had 2 TVs in the green room.
Nice.
So we could like see them. Like a lot of
Right.
times, you want to see the bands you play with, but you're also in your own space getting ready
Right.
how you do. So you can't you don't want to just go out and like a lot of times like hear other be out in front and hear other the other bands.
Right.
So like a lot of times you're in a green room, you don't get to see anything. You're just like you barely hear anything.
isolated.
If there is a
away.
green room.
And
Yeah,
and
if there
it's
is a green room, yeah.
and so
Most of the times you're hanging out at the bar, like waiting,
Yeah.
and people are bugging you, and you're
Yeah.
kind of like, it's.
well this one we got to see and everything. But yeah, it's
I imagine like an athlete, you know, like you do like major sporting events, or even like there's like you have
so
a
if you're at the
locker
Olympics-
room.
If you're at the Olympics and your event's coming up, if you're like you're Michael
You get your
Phelps,
own little room. You get the like you go. There's a part of pumping up
But the
about
only
it.
thing is, when I watch the Olympics, they don't get their own room.
They get like their own.
One of my favorite things about playing when I loved playing it downstream, just in case they're listening. But one
They
of my
turned
fa-
us down last time.
Please give us your.
I hit them up and they were
One
like,
of my favorite
"No,
things about
we're
playing there
booked."
was their
We're
green
done
room
with you
though,
guys.
because their green room was actually not that good of a green room.
It was shitty.
But
Small.
I liked it.
Private.
I liked it because it was private during breaks, and it seemed like since it's a hard show.
Oh,
to
yeah.
play
That-
it
it's
downstream.
4 hours.
Unless you
Just straight music.
unless
It's
you
45. It's 4 45-minute sets.
unless you hide a flask in there,
Right.
you're not drinking while you're playing.
Yeah, and so it's like it gets hard, and so like having that private time where we can just kind of sit back and just kind of like
Or even
all
just
kind of
walk in
just-
and sit down without like walking off stage
and not have
and
to
then
worry about
immediately
talking to
people
anybody.
talking to you.
You can just like walk off and talk like between the us.
It's really
Like,
Don't get us
strange
wrong,
'cause
we
you have to
like
be
talking.
on.
We like talking to people, but
Yes.
it's like when you get done, like
a show like that
I
needs
would say
a
playing a
private
show,
time.
yeah.
Like that.
I play in several bands and like
Kyle plays way more than Tyler and I do.
I play in several bands and like we went a while without playing a gig, and Tragic Prelude had a gig and it was an hour set, and I'll play full nights and just be like fine. I don't get wore out. We
Right.
play an hour set and my shirt was drenched down to almost.
Was that the Dead Eye opener?
Yeah, my shirt was drenched down to my belly button, and I was just physically worn out.
Oh,
And
it's
After a
so
1
for
hour
us-
show
So for
versus-
us, whenever we get done with a set, we just like really
We pour it
need to
all in.
chill out. We really need to, like we'll tame it down if
Mm.
we have 3 hours to cover, but if we have 1 hour to cover, like it's
Going
We're
hard.
not going.
Going
Yeah,
ham.
we're not doing like
man.
1 hour light. No, you're
like,
you're
Half
getting
Dress 4
you're
years
getting the
ago-
condensed condensed version.
Yeah, Half Grass
You're
4
getting
years ago
the-
we played 17 songs in an hour.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
How
mean,
does that work out?
well, bluegrass is weird. Bluegrass is like, I mean, it's built on short songs. I mean, you think about like some of the
Just
most
like a
famous
minute or
songs, you
less,
know.
or what?
No, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. There's a lot of old
sometimes
classic
3.
songs that are like that.
The
They didn't need a lot to tell. Need a lot of time to tell the
The
story.
only
they
song
need to
we
tell.
have pushed 5 minutes recorded would be "Song for Lee," I think.
and just because it's a
Yeah,
slow,
it's a slow song.
arduous
with about
song.
5 verses and a chorus for every verse. So
Yeah, that's not,
But
we,
it's a
we
good
don't
song.
play it unless we're playing those really long shows where
Yeah.
we need a filler.
Right.
Like it sucks that song's become just a filler song.
we
but-
should do it more often. Well, we should play.
We
more
should, but the problem.
There we
hey,
go.
hell, we're
should.
playing a lot
often. Hey,
in October.
Should we speak about that for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay, what do we got coming up, guys?
So in October, are we
fish-
doing?
Should we
Are we,
invite-
are
should
we
we
doing
invite-
Angels?
Should we invite everybody to Webb's?
Are we doing Angels?
Hey, that guy will let us play if we want.
Okay,
Alan
so-
McCamey will let us play.
So
we just gotta go up there.
Obviously, today is
Expect us to be
September 27th,
Expect us to be outside Angels on the Route Saturday night,
October 1st.
October 1st, about 7:30, maybe a little earlier. Me and Jimmy might get there and do a little jamming before Tyler gets there.
This is in Baxter Springs.
in
downtown
Baxter Springs, Kansas, on Route 66.
Yep. The next weekend we have a private show, and then the weekend after that we're playing at the Creekside Grill, which used to be Decker's Dog Bar. It's on Schifferdecker Road in Joplin,
By
Yeah.
Zan's.
by Zan's.
Okay.
It's
You
a little dive bar,
Go
but
get you some food. If you're going out
new
later,
owners, so it's actually pretty nice out there now.
if you're going out later, stop by there first. Hit your drink against
Cheers.
the mic.
And then the weekend after that, we're playing in Redding's Mill.
Ooh.
Yeah, Redding's
That place
Mill.
is cool.
Redding's Mill Inn. Yeah.
It's a cool place. That's a cool part of town. I
They
like
actually-
it. It's,
Yeah.
you don't
the
actually
Right outside of Joplin, Missouri.
You don't actually have to go into Joplin.
I
It's
like that bar.
it's outside close enough that you don't like.
It's right on
it's really
I-44,
cool.
so it's really simple.
And,
cool.
and obviously, I know the people that booked the show for us. They said they're getting a whole bunch of new bands there too, which is kind of nice. Like,
Yeah, I've
some
played
new
at
music.
I've played at Redding's Mill a few times past few months, and it seems like they got stuck with a few of the same groups. It's
and they're
nice
trying to
see.
change it up. Yeah.
Do you guys have any plans to record any more studio music? You know, like put a SoundCloud
Honestly,
out,
the
YouTube?
biggest problem about recording studio music is it takes time and money.
getting a studio? I own a small digital recorder, and we've thought about just doing a rough recording with
Yeah.
that, and just getting it mixed as well, and just because
putting something
it's
out.
basically we're a pretty raw band, and we've done some of those recordings, and they sound pretty good, and like. For what we're not gonna, I don't see us being the guys that are gonna make the studio perfect album with the perfect album cover with the perfect case and selling
Well,
it for
bullshit. I'm
$15.
gonna definitely make sure that the album cover is perfect.
The album cover will be perfect. The album cover will be perfect. But you know what I'm saying? I
hear
don't see. We're not gonna have like the full like case. You know, we're not gonna put so much into it that like
No, it costs too much money.
But CDs are not
we're
cheap.
we're
to
not
do,
we're
so.
not it's just not us. I mean, we've got other jobs and side gigs and stuff like that. And this is like
This is
the
fun
point
for
of
us.
Tragic Prelude was never to be. We're gonna be on the stage of the Grammys.
Well, yeah, we always planned on it was basically a hobby that paid you something occasionally.
there was a
Right.
short time where we talked about it'd be cool if we could do it for a living, but obviously that was just that was more just
a
like
dream
it's
more
a
than
thought.
Well, what's the overall goal of Tragic Prelude?
Just have fun.
Have fun.
I like I said,
Just play here and there, you know.
I
just
play with a
something to
lot of
do.
groups here and there, but whenever these guys whenever one of them comes up and says we have, or I hear of something, whenever one of us comes up and says there's something going on.
I'm the one who hinders it, guys.
No, it's not. No. It's
Jimmy,
not.
I have
hinders
2
it. I'm
children
gonna call
and a
Jimmy
wife.
out.
It's
He's
you've
just like,
you've understandably hindered it. It's one of those deals. Like whenever something comes up, like if I'm free, it's like first thing like Tragic Prelude is by far like priority. It's a huge priority of mine. If these guys want to play, I'm there.
I always appreciate Kyle telling that because he plays in a '90s cover band.
Hey,
He played in a Red Dirt
I'm a-
country band. He plays in
They're all
Conway
great.
Twitty.
They're all great. I love them.
Conway Jackson.
Conway West. We play in Conway West. No, it was Conway Jackson. No. All in Neil's
It
face.
was?
It's like,
Was?
Well, yeah, because
our singer moved to the Virgin Islands, and
hard life.
Yeah.
Talking to you, Alex.
You want to play music on the weekends for maybe some money, or go live in the Virgin Islands and have an awesome time? Play music still. I hope to reconnect with that guy, Alex. Alex Gimmica, much love to you out there in the Virgin Islands. Hope to reconnect with you and play some music. But he was in Bill and Monica for a short time. He joined the band and then he moved. And we were in Conway Jackson together. But in all those bands I played in, like Tragic Prelude is just the one that it's the let loose. It really is the let loose. Like it's no holds barred.
It's built on fun.
I will laugh harder. I will smile bigger. I will sweat
Drink
more. I will
more.
sweat more. No, I really don't drink anymore.
we don't really. We try. Honestly,
I have to drive to all my gigs anymore, and I realize I really don't have fun when I drink and I play. So I haven't. No,
I play better if I have just like 1 or 2 drinks.
just a few. Just a
knock
few.
the
to
nerves.
get- he's gotta
Believe
get-
me, you can.
Jimmy's got to
My
drink
nerves.
just enough to get his shoulder and arm loose.
Yes.
For the whole night. That's
Yeah,
basically what it is.
if
And
Jimmy drinks too much, he goes to halftime and he drags us down.
if you haven't drank enough, the shoulder starts to hurt.
It does. I don't know. It's my right here. It's right by my thumb.
Dude,
Yeah, that right here where nobody can see it that's listening to
plays.
this podcast.
No,
It's a
seriously,
saddle.
it's
The
a
guy
saddle.
plays hard. He freaking
There's a
plays
hole
guitar.
in my guitar.
But it's
A hole.
But I
He's gonna grab it.
He's getting up to show that nobody can see it, but
Oh my gosh. Wait.
We're gonna take a picture.
No, we're going Facebook Live.
Oh, Facebook Live for this.
Oh shit.
oh no.
So if
Jimmy
you're
played-
if
Jimmy
you're
played
tuned in
too.
at 1 hour 18 minutes.
Well,
Which that's from your hand?
Yeah, this
And
is
the
from
pig.
a pig. Yeah, I tore that hole in.
I will say about drinking though. Upright is the one instrument I can drink and play because
You're upright.
because you can lean on the son of a bitch. Like literally lean on it. As long as your arms are moving, you're going.
Boom.
Yeah.
I one time picked up that guitar and got a splinter in
You're
my
alive.
fucking hand. Seriously. And I warned Jimmy. I was like, Jimmy, be careful when you touch that guitar. Like you're gonna get a splinter.
hole in
You can
the
see
guitar.
you can see a little piece of wood stick.
Right there.
Yes.
No, that's at the frame.
No. There's a little
I-
strand. It's
Forget
gone
it's
now. It's run down.
11:30 at night. No one's on Facebook to watch a live feed.
But they'll see that you were live.
Yeah, they missed out.
Colton Seifert
And
was
then right
live.
here, it's been shaved down so that I have like this really.
It's
nice
contoured for your pleasure.
It's also
Jimmy's has sometimes bled while he played.
This
He
is
did.
true.
I have to tape up, so I don't bleed. I have to Simone Biles. I tape up, and
You guys do go hard.
and then I get the powder. I rub it on, and
This
you
my
know?
my guitar is covered in baby powder because
Because of him.
look at this.
It's so
This right here,
thrash, dude.
This is baby powder.
Just from
from
standing next
staying
to-
next
Because
to
he-
Kyle.
At Winfield,
Oh, you're not-
Kyle,
you're being
Kyle
serious.
keeps a like a Ziploc baggie with baby powder in it, so he can just dip his hand in it, and powder goes everywhere.
Most of the time, he throws it onto the side of
Is
his
it
bass.
LeBron James or the Tragic Prelude?
It's like, you see in the gigs after we're done setting up, there's like
yeah.
like a 12-inch like sphere of just powder.
And then
It's
he
so
always,
funny.
Someone
he
died here.
refuses not to slap me on the back because
Oh,
Tyler thinks so. Slap him in the back. Yeah.
I got a big
Print.
old handprint on the back, and I'm like,
You've been ogled.
Ogred. I'll never forget that.
I feel like you guys are so close, like on the cusp of doing this as like legitly, like as a career.
we could.
I
Man,
feel
we could.
like it.
We have a whole
little bit of
You
motivation.
talked about recording. We
Yeah.
have an album's worth of material that has not been recorded.
Oh, yeah.
and plus we have songs that we should probably re-record.
We
Right.
probably also should maybe start writing again.
Yeah, that's true. Hey,
Hey,
wait,
no,
we've
no.
got some new songs.
A Kung Fu Cowboy is a good. It's
We've got some new
hit.
songs. I mean, Wet Bologna and Sandwich Song are about a year and a half old or 2 years old, but they're still new. We're reinventing them. We always got new verses for Wet Bologna.
Well, and Sandwich
And
Song
then-
to be fair, but
And Sandwich Song as well.
It's always new chords.
Yeah, Sandwich Song. But we got this new strong one that we got out now. We're working on. It's pretty well done. The Kung Fu Cowboy.
Sounds
It was written by a 3-year-old.
It was Jim. Well, here's the thing about Tragic Prelude. We have all wrote songs ourselves, but the majority of Tragic Prelude songs have been written by friends, which is a very
Yeah.
cool thing.
It is very cool because
they're connected, and it's cool when you
Yeah.
tell people they're like, there's a story behind it. Like,
and
you know,
like Jared, our friend Jared, he's written probably most of our songs.
and
Like
he's wrote a lot of the clever ones. Like there's a few songs if you listen don't have any rhymes, and you don't notice it.
they sound good.
They sound great. And Jared has wrote the ones. These are like it's like
The most unique ones,
3038s has no rhyme at all. And I'm like, it's so perfect. It took me a long time when I was in the band to realize that there was no rhyme.
Right.
And I go, it freaking
Flows.
works.
It flows so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally poetry. It's not like your stereotypical cookie cutter. We have to find a word that matches the last
right,
phrase.
yeah.
well, I walked over here and then I had a beer. You know, I mean, it's
Like well,
like it.
well driller. You get to that at the end, and you expect a rhyme, and it's go to work.
Yeah.
It doesn't rhyme at all with any phrase. And
that was the very first song we ever wrote.
and it's just,
drilling?
no, it wasn't.
No, it
Cotton
wasn't.
Wood
Sorry, Caught My Coffin. It was the
Jimmy
second
likes
song
to
we
lie.
wrote. We wrote it on the same day. I'm sorry. We wrote Well Driller in 2009 with Jared. Jared and I sat down and wrote
At
that song.
Winfield.
At Winfield.
If we could credit Tragic Prelude songwriters, we have Jimmy, Tyler, me, of course, three of us. We have Ben DeBusk, Ryan Curran, Jared Webb. Is there anybody else on the list?
Teddy.
Teddy is
Teddy
not on the
wrote
song.
my son.
My
Started his
dad.
career
My
early.
dad was making the sandwich as I wrote sandwich songs, so maybe
He gets credit.
He gets
He
credit.
gets credit.
No, he's not getting credit. He made a fucking sandwich. Anybody can do that, but it takes a special person.
to write the song.
He was literally in another room, and I was just watching him making this sandwich.
You gotta get the bread.
True passion right there.
The first version was whispering. Gotta get some bread.
Get some cheese.
There was no melody. And some cheese.
Yeah, if you could see what he's doing right, he's stroking a guitar. Or something.
it's ukulele, man. I was playing
oh,
ukulele.
yeah,
No,
you
it was
should-
fun.
I got a couple ukes
I think
over there.
I think the melody was wrote on a ukulele.
You gotta get some bread, and it's turning now into like almost like barbershop.
Yeah,
quartet.
our 3-person barbershop quartet.
Yeah, exactly.
Our fourth died.
Our barbershop tritet.
Tritet.
I don't know if that's a thing.
The fourth
Tri-
one
I
died.
guess
The
it's
fourth
called
one
a
died in a
fucking
terrible,
It's
terrible,
called a
terrible.
trio. I called it a tritet. Oh Jesus!
I didn't even notice.
No, nobody did.
Our fourth died in a straight razor accident.
God bless his soul.
Oh my goodness.
He was eating too much ice cream down at the soda shop.
Don't do it yourself.
Wait, when you're writing these songs, is it traditional writing, where you have a piece of paper and you're like, okay, this is the first verse, and then
Well,
someone throws something
no.
else out? Or what's the...
No. Well, the thing is
I mean, you were
because
watching your dad make a sandwich.
so many of our songs are written by other people that they'll write lyrics down.
So how do you transcribe that?
Well, so many times it sounds like, to me, it sounds like, I think, I don't talk a lot during shows because I feel like I sound like an idiot.
We don't allow it.
And so
He's not allowed to talk.
a lot of the time, I feel like every song,
Now you can see
we
why.
always say, "Oh, this is a true story."
Because
oh, this is a true story.
because I do say that before every song.
And we're not kidding. They're literally true
Right,
stories.
they are
Like
true
these
stories.
are
There's a
things
truth
that's
to
actually
every single
happened,
one.
and it makes it fun because all like Jared Webb wrote from fact from his past and his grandparents' past.
Except for
and
it's still having fun. It's completely false.
Huh? Oh yeah.
But for the most part,
He never wrecked his truck in the river.
It can be true.
But like
Parts are true. Most of it. 90%.
But
true.
like a lot of our songs are based on fact, and so like it makes it interesting. Like because I don't think a lot of bands
Or personal interest.
Yeah.
It's like comedians. They write jokes that are based around fact, but they embellish things.
Right.
It all has some matter of fact. Like kicked out of Kansas. Well, you don't literally get kicked out of Kansas, but
But he kind of got kicked out of Kansas.
well, it's not like they're literally like you have to get out of the
The
state.
judge literally said you need to either leave the state or you're doing time.
That's basically
that to
like
Jared?
No, that was
somebody else.
Oh,
But he basically got
He was like, "Hey, if you're not gonna clean up your act,
then you can just move to
like,
Portland.
if
that
you-
might have just been advice.
it was probably advice."
He didn't really kick him out. He was like, dude, you just straighten up or go to Portland. He's like, I'll just go to Portland.
Because if I were you,
If you want to not get in trouble again,
he might have just said that because we're so close to state lines. He's like, hey, all you have to do is just go over here. And cool. Like, you don't have to go to fucking Oregon.
He's
so dramatic. He's so dramatic.
so dramatic. Yeah. So yeah, we've had several friends write songs for us.
And
what about Well Driller? Where'd that come from?
Well, that was from Jared. Jared's,
Oh, okay. Another one.
Jared wrote that one. So like Well Driller, and there's a song called Caught My Coffin. Caught My Coffin is fabricated. Jared and I wrote that one. Or Jared wrote it. I wrote the chords.
yeah.
That was the very first song we ever wrote, and we kind of wanted to do like a Civil War type song because I guess we haven't really talked about like our name yet, but
Yeah, it sounds like a punk emo band.
yeah,
but-
Tragic Prelude is like it's our famous joke. It's like, oh, it's just so depressing. But the thing is like we put, like one time we like double billed with somebody else with an equally depressing name, and they were like, that doesn't look like an emo show. But Tragic Prelude is the name of the painting of John Brown in the state capital of Kansas,
holding a
rifle and a Bible.
Yeah.
Which is your logo, right?
Right. Well, I
yeah,
mean, it's
based
kind
off
of
it.
more or
yeah.
less.
Which, speaking of this, I haven't brought this up to you guys yet. With the addition of the new Facebook emotions, I think we need to introduce
The down.
Tragic Prelude disapproved.
Oh, that would be. I could do it.
You can do
It would take some time. I have to find the old vector.
You
files.
heard it here first. It's gonna happen.
SciFi And Friends exclusive.
With the November upon us, we almost need to do a reprint of the
Oh yeah, the band of the
Dick
people.
Nixon.
We did one where
We
John
did-
Brown was holding up the peace
The
sign.
peace signs.
Band of the
like
people.
a good old
Let's do
Nixon.
it.
It was good,
So what happened was like we wanted
but we didn't get impeached.
We need to get third
This
party
is true.
candidate.
Gary Johnson. Maybe I don't know.
Kyle Ogle.
I'm there with you.
I don't want to talk about 2016 politics. But
No one
Talk
watched
about
the debate
2017 politics. It'll be interesting. It'll be
no one's running.
very, very calm year.
It will be a calm year. It'll be really nice.
Maybe.
So
Yep, sure.
I heard
Depends
the
on who
weather's
gets in
gonna be.
office.
I heard the weather's gonna be great in 2017.
did you check the Farmer's Almanac already?
Yeah, Yep. The
I heard
Good year
that.
for corn.
I did hear our winter was gonna be terrible this year.
Yeah, I heard
I hope
bad.
so, man.
I hope so too. I
Persimmons
really
were
want some
spoons this
snow.
year.
I want some
we-
snow.
Hey, spoons your persimmons?
Yeah,
You-
the persimmons were spoons.
You talked about riding earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our best riding did when Jimmy was moved down to Arkansas, and he Jimmy moved to Arkansas and didn't have any friends down there, so he basically just played guitar all the time.
He would send us videos of him
Yeah.
playing new stuff. Like he would write.
And
he'd send us
he
videos.
wrote some really cool stuff while he was down there. Some really.
And then he would drive.
di-
I wrote. I guess I wrote Well Driller down there, but and
I
I
mean,
did the chords for
in Arkansas. I mean, Well Driller,
No,
Not Well Driller. I'm so sorry.
Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl.
We played a show. This is no joke. We played a show in Lincoln, Nebraska one time, and this was when the highway was out between Kansas City and Lincoln, Nebraska. So we had to come out like this weird way through Wichita and up.
There's a flood or something.
Yeah, it was some crazy deal. Well, anyways, we got off stage. I mean, by the time we got packed up, it was almost like 3:00 in the morning. It was 6-hour drive back to Rebuildng, Kansas, from how
So I was living in Hot Springs, Arkansas at the time,
Yeah,
and we
so
got hit up to lead up to it. We got hit up by one of the guys that we looked up to, one of the guys that was in one of the bands from the Mud Stomp era in 2009.
yeah, but it was probably like what 2011, 2012 when we played the show.
It would be after 2011 because we moved after the tornado in Joplin. So it was 2011, and he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, I got a gig for you. It's tomorrow night. It's in Lincoln, Nebraska. You'll play with all these other Mud Stomp bands. Can you make it?" And we're like, and instinctively, I'm just like, "Yeah, we'll be there."
Yeah.
And so I just packed up, left Hot Springs, which Hot Springs, Arkansas is about 5 hours away from where we are now.
Wow. I know that.
Yeah, it's more or less you go to Little Rock, Little Rock, Arkansas, and then you backtrack southwest towards Texas.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's
And Lincoln, Nebraska's far enough away anyway.
yeah,
Right,
Lincoln,
so-
Nebraska from here is about 9 hours. So you tack it
no,
on,
it's 6 hours from here. It was 3.
but with the traffic, it was 9.
no, the. But
Okay,
was
more
that-
or less, it was a
was a long
long
drive.
freaking
Yeah, so
way.
we started heading home. I remember Jimmy had to drop me off. He dropped me off at my house at 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I went to church. He drove all the way back home from Lincoln, Nebraska. So he didn't get any sleep. He woke
I
up-
literally drove back home, loaded everybody up. We drove to Nebraska. We played the show. We loaded back up. We drove back, and then I drove back.
and it was like he just drove like
Sounds tired just saying it.
I was
I know.
he drove
Actually,
like 20
I did,
hours.
I did
and-
sleep at a truck stop. I slept in my car at a truck stop.
He drove like 20 hours in 28 hours.
Plus a
Yeah.
show, plus everything else.
They call me at work and were like, "Hey, we want to go to Lincoln, Nebraska." And I was a market manager of a butcher shop here in town at the time, and I really, really wanted to relinquish my position. I was going to ask for demotion soon, so I decided as one of my last executive decisions. I got this call, and the guy, my coworker, we worked together for a long time before the store had opened. And he was an older guy. He was really cool. And I was like, "Hey, I got this chance." He's like, "Just go." And I was like, so my last executive decision was, I'm going to leave at 1 o'clock. And so we go and do the gig. And it was about,
You would be back at work the next morning.
yeah,
at
I had
like
to
8
be,
in the morning.
I was supposed to be there at 8. And it was about 5 o'clock in the morning at Topeka when I realized that I wasn't going to get back in time. And this store had just opened. And we'd had a person from corporate there every Sunday.
Oh, God.
Every Sunday. So I was like, I'm gonna have to call in, and you're gonna like this here soon. I
already love it.
Oh, I call in, and I'm just like sweating it out. And Tony the Team Martin answers.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey. I can't remember his name. I think his name is Phil. No, his name was, I don't know what the fuck his name is. What's his name there? He goes, no. He goes, no, he's not here this week. It's just me. It's just like he was in charge for the morning. Tony the Team.
Dope.
And I was like, well, I will not be there until this time, Tony. And he was like, cool. And
Oh, dude. He's a good guy.
He knew what I was doing. So big shout out to Tony, the team. He helped me out a lot at that place.
What's funny is that we got back and I'm like, expected to be dead because there were points where Tyler and I would pull over on the side of the road. I would jump out and I would like run up and down the highway
To get psyched?
just to like slap my face. Like, to
and I
keep
was trying to
away.
stay up with him, and I'm
This
like,
isn't like the old-
We took two cars. They were you guys were in Jordan's vehicle.
I took my brother's Kia Soul.
Because you thought you'd get back earlier?
No,
we didn't have room for
Oh,
that.
okay.
So Jimmy let Ben drive his car. Me and Ben rode in Jimmy's car.
Smoked cigarettes in it like it was going out of style.
Yeah, we stopped and
No
rolled.
denial.
Like they talk about stopping and slapping, so we stopped and rolled stuff.
That car
I
was
got
a lot
in my
more
I got in
smooth.
my car to drive home and I'm like, oh, you sons of bitches.
Ogre.
I hope I don't get pulled over.
Yeah, no joke. Well,
I'm
what
like,
was so good about
seriously.
that show?
Nothing.
It was fun. Hey, Lou
No.
Dudes. Was it Lou Dudes?
Lou Dudes was there. Yeah, that's true.
Lou Dudes
no,
made a
we
friend.
we
It was-
did
it was a
we
cool
did.
experience.
It was a cool experience.
You played well.
We played a lot of I think what got us burned, and this is like just to bring it all back, like why personally I don't want to travel or do. No, I like traveling. I don't really want to put a lot of money in doing albums and stuff. Is that we got a lot of promises early on to be like, oh yeah, you could play this, play this, play this, play this. And we're like, okay, cool. And we thought they were like the big break. Like
We
were
went
gonna,
out of our way to do
we
a lot
went
of
out of
things.
our
You
way.
got some stars.
Spent
in
a
your
lot of
eyes.
money.
Yeah. And so we're like, yeah. And so we sacrificed a lot of money. We didn't get paid for a lot of these places. And then we're like, dude, this just sucks. Like, it sucks. We're getting burned on like these shows that are promised to us that are going to be really great.
And I hate to say it, like, I'm a hindrance on this point. Like, when it comes to travel, I always I work weekends, and so we'd be 2.5 hours away, getting done at 2:00 in the morning. Like, right, guys,
I gotta go home.
Let's load up. I'm driving us home because I gotta work in the morning. So
Yeah.
there's a whole lot of like hanging out we couldn't do at places. So like traveling became like it wasn't just like
Which is funny about the
wouldn't just
band
become the
industry is because
factor.
there's the networking aspect to that
Yeah.
too, where like afterward, there's like
Oh,
after
right.
You
parties
go and
and
hang
you got to
out.
go
we
hang
just
out.
didn't get the chance of like doing a lot of that.
No.
and you know it's like
Part of me
even-
isn't
even
happy
if-
about that
even-
because I don't really want to be in that culture.
Well, even if I'm not I'm not an after party person. I'm generally like I'm gonna go home and have a few beers myself and like go to bed.
Yeah, I'm with
this
you.
is personally, and that's probably why we all click so well together.
because we're like, okay,
Tyler's
I'm done.
probably the gripiest after his time when it's time to go home.
When we're all done, I'm ready to go to bed.
Nobody's more fun to go places
No
with than
denial.
Tyler, but Tyler is
It's
the
the worst
least
one
fun to go home.
Oh yeah,
Oh god,
it's the worst.
I'm an
I love
asshole
you,
on the way
Tyler.
home. I'm like, hey, guys, come on! Don't be driving through
Don't puke in the
downtown Fort
truck.
Scott
You guys wanna drive to-
during the freaking morning.
Hey,
we're driving home from Kansas City.
Jimmy
Don't
and
freaking
Tyler,
stop.
Jimmy and Tyler are getting upset at each other, and I think the only way I can make them happy is to make them both mad at me. and so, it's
a good strategy.
And so Bradshaw loves this. Bradshaw, he likes watching all this. Matt Bradshaw, he likes watching all this. So I'm like,
He's
yeah.
our
And I was
resident
pissed.
like half-ass
guy.
help load you in, half-ass.
No,
Your PA.
he's the load you in guy. Like quarter ass, help you load out.
This is true. This is true.
He-
I love you,
no,
Matt.
no,
Hey,
but
Matt can fucking sell some merch
He can,
though,
oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
oh yes,
He can help load out as long as there's no stairs.
Stairs are his weakness.
But we. It's true. It's true. But what was the original point of this?
I don't
What was
No,
it?
we don't like
I
traveling because the problem with traveling is you always it seemed
You
like
always lose money.
We always
Oh, that's
lost
right.
money doing it, and so we started playing like
Well, yeah, downtown
let's
Fort
start
Scott.
playing
Yeah,
local.
Yeah, so these guys are getting upset. They got to get back to Baxter. They're in a. Jimmy's going to make cocktails. Well, I tell a story. Oh yeah, yes. So they're trying to get back to Baxter. Tyler's going to look at a house. Jimmy wants to get back, and I'm like, hey, you guys want to go look at downtown Fort Scott? Because downtown Fort Scott, like we always drive by it, and it's not very pretty. But I had I played
You all right?
I played a gig at Fort Scott Memorial Hall there one summer, like every Saturday for
Yeah.
like 2 months for one summer, and I realized downtown Fort Scott's really nice. So I'm like, you
Like
guys,
historically nice?
yeah,
or-
historically,
Okay,
historically,
yeah, yeah.
old houses,
Right.
downtown's cool. I'm like, you guys want to drive through downtown Fort Scott? And I knew they were mad. And they're like, the silence comes over the truck. They're like, no. so
So you drove
So I
downtown
fucking-
Fort Scott.
my left hand just flips the turn signal. And
we're like,
And we were pissed.
I've never heard the truck be more silent, man. It was just quiet. And, it was really nice that they quieted down so much to see the tour. I really didn't want a bunch of
And if you
talking
look to
going
your
on.
left,
And so
that's the old post office.
we get out of it, and I'm like, okay,
were
good.
pissed.
I'm like, good. They've channeled their anger towards me. I can handle it. I'm like, I'll
See,
just-
see,
I'll
The
just-
funny thing is that I also wanted to go home. We were only Kyle and I were both equally
That's what
mad
I'm
at you
telling-
and Matt.
well, but
Oh,
you guys were
man,
mad
we
at
were
each
so mad.
But you guys were mad at each other before that.
Well, it's because Jimmy and I always go to each other's throats. It's the craziest thing. Jimmy and I are great friends, but we always like go for whatever reason. We just get in like these ribs.
hindsight's 2020. That house you were gonna go look at had a carbon monoxide leak.
Well, hell, I got
Ouch.
divorced, so it doesn't matter.
so win.
I don't know where to go from there.
Tyler cracked it open.
How's that going for you?
I lost some money, but it's okay.
You got the place to yourself.
What's really crazy is like we didn't play for literally like 8 months, and one of the main reasons was because right before then, we played a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And my mindset went from playing to how can we make this
Lucrative.
lucrative for
But
us.
here's the thing is,
and so like Jimmy and I, we got in big heated not arguments, but like we just got it's something like Jimmy and I just didn't get along. Kyle was trying to be the moderator, and I didn't give a hell what he said, and so we, in a way, Jimmy and I just had like this, like we kind of were girls about it. It was not to be sexist, not that there's anything wrong with
Yeah,
that.
that's okay.
But like we held our anger instead of talking about it. We respected each other so much we didn't want to offend each other.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of ate it, and then we went to that following Winfield. He kind of had a heart to heart, and that's when we started playing again. And now we kind of are on our normal path now, like where we play a handful of shows every couple months.
I drive there.
He doesn't. He already
Separate.
said he doesn't like to drink. So
I pretty much
We
drive
know, we know
there.
what you like to do, Kyle.
So Kyle, you're just driving home from all the shows from now on, right?
pretty much probably.
Always taking that Fort Scott route.
Tyler was going to drive to one.
we're
but
playing
then,
in Miami, but we'll call them. But we're gonna go through Fort
Fort
Scott
Scott.
on the way.
You
home.
guys will see so many downtowns.
I think there's a song in there, Downtown Fort Scott.
Oh man.
Have you been to downtown Fort Scott?
No, but I'd like to go
Okay,
and write a
okay,
song
okay.
with you.
No,
So
it sucks.
what sucks? Okay, here's
Next show to Kansas City.
Here's the worst
you're going
part.
with this.
Here's the worst part. The funniest house to see in Fort Scott is like you need to go to the north part and go back south, because you go to the north part, you get the cool downtown area. There's all
Don't like that drink
brick
over
road. It's just ice. But anyways, so you go down there. There's nice shops, nice road, and then you get to these nice Victorian homes, big, huge houses, huge places. And then at the very end, you get to the most 1980s house you can find ever. So many round corners. there's
The
like,
epitome of Fort
like
Scott.
above the garage where there would be a basketball goal is like a 1980s style clock.
Still work?
Yeah, it's had some repair, but yeah, there's this 80s house in Fort Scott that is this. It literally made it, when I was playing in Fort Scott a lot. I was
about that house.
I was drinking and driving a lot, so
Allegedly.
so yeah,
Allegedly.
You got to be
never-
careful about this podcast.
it's statute
5 years from now, we might be in court.
statute of
listening to this.
limitations has ran out. I couldn't prove a damn thing. I was drinking and driving and smoking a lot, and so I'd get to there and I'd just be so like elated that this 80s house at the beginning of it, and then I look at all the pretty houses and I get there and play my shit gig for $80.
And then go look at the house.
I was done by 11 o'clock. I get back by 12 o'clock, so it was an early night. It was a good one.
How was Winfield this year?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, like
Well, different
Kyle said,
setup.
I
Just
drank
like-
too much.
Kyle got there early, and then I showed up in the evening time. I set up my tent, and then Jimmy showed up right as Kyle was playing stage 5 with
Right,
Casey
that's a good way to
Firefighters.
start off Winfield.
And then
It was.
we all camped together for the first time in a couple years.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't able to bring my family this time. I brought my family the last couple of years. So I brought my son Teddy, and then
You did bring him this time?
No,
No.
the last 2 years I
okay.
did, but with Oliver being born and Hannah's paid time off, he wasn't able to. They weren't able to come this year. So, yeah,
But it was a good. It was a great
it
Winfield
was-
because we
it
got
was,
to play some music. It was.
It was good. It was good for the band.
it was good. It was a good like we said therapy. It's a good
Right.
for me. It was a good moment to get away.
The only
I need to change you diapers for 3 days.
it was at the lake, so a little different setup. The only thing is
Because
like,
it rained, right?
there's
Right, it
flooded.
torrential
the
flooding.
fairgrounds, So
Which your
there's-
ticket fee was waived, I heard.
Yeah,
Yes,
That's pretty dope.
It
It's
cost
nice.
me $10.50.
cost me $8. Yeah,
Beat you.
we had 3 people in my car.
Oh shit!
But no, it's the only bad thing though is like,
Damn it!
like where we can't. That was delayed.
Thought I got a deal. I was thinking of mulling over it. I'm like, oh man.
Where
It's
we
really getting to him.
camp in the Pecan Grove, we're literally like just 20 yards from like the main like about 2 o'clock to about 6 o'clock in the morning, where all the late night jams happen. There's a little road there with the street lights, and we're literally just yards away from that. And there wasn't that centralized road this year, so you didn't see.
That's
the
what.
road
That's
drams
that's
at
the worst
night.
part, man.
But
What did they do about the stages? I mean, did they rebuild them?
So the main stages kept going.
Yeah,
At the
the
main
floodwaters
fairgrounds.
receded enough. Everybody was able to get in, and no problem. And they had charter buses taking people from the lake which is probably about a 15-minute ride to the town to see the stages.
Okay.
But yeah,
But for the campers, I mean, we like for us, like honestly, we don't really go into the main stages all that much anyway.
Right.
So they just set those campground stages up.
And that's
At
where
the
you kind
lake.
of hover around.
And so you just like, all right, cool. I'm gonna hit
That's
stage
kinda
find time. I'm gonna hit stage
Yeah.
5.
yeah, those
stage
stages
5, stage
started
7.
because like guys that had like went and watched music were like, hey, we're tired. Like Fine Time. Those guys were like,
It grew out of
we don't.
stage-
They got tired of like having to go to stages to see bands. So
Yeah.
they started making their own
Grew
stage.
out, grew out of stage 5. Stage 5 was there. They the kind of the campground stage, and then they
This is in the bed of a flatbed pickup,
and
like
like
an
and
old
they-
50s
they
pickup.
have a small PA with some condenser mics, so everything's heard very well. But then like these other stages grew out of that.
It
Like
spawned.
these
So
campground
like
stages,
fine time stage that we mentioned is in the back of like a little trailer that they build.
They make these walls that kind of go out.
who books those?
Oh,
Well, you book them every day. It's at 1 o'clock. It's
You
like
just
it's
sign
like
up.
an
You just,
open
like-
mic kind of situation
Right,
where
right.
They
First
sign
come,
up
first
weird
served.
times. They'll sign you up for like 10:42 to 11.
That's at fine time.
11:27.
but it's based on notoriety. So
Right.
like when we sign up for stage 7, now there's another stage. Like stage 7 is like pretty notable. It's been around for about
It's got
15 years.
It's got lottery going. Like you have to like.
You have a lottery.
Okay.
So what
It's like who
happens
he
is,
knows.
yeah. So what you do is you show up. It's like 1 o'clock. You show up that day. You get in line. You say, "Yeah,
then they-
Tragic Prelude is going to play."
before they allow you to pick the spot, they always select a group of bands that people are there in the lottery.
And they have like a section of time that's like
for
their
the
prime
showcase,
Right.
time.
like,
So they
for
call
bands.
they call it the showcase. And so like if they know if say a band shows up that they want to hear during a prime slot, they'll put them in the showcase.
We fortunately got a showcase spot this year,
Nice.
and we woke Jimmy up about 10 minutes before.
And then
I
like,
blame Bill Wilson.
the Fine Time stage.
That's
The really cool
easily-
thing about the Fine
The
Time
guy
stage.
fed me like I was getting ready for slaughter.
Jimmy's
as
pace time wasn't the.
I did not pace it out well
No,
this year.
Jimmy didn't pace at all.
It's an
okay.
all day long
He's
battle.
detoxing.
Jimmy ran a
detoxing from
100-meter
diapers.
dash all day.
I did.
Your ultimate goal as Winfield is like honestly this didn't
Drinking is a marathon,
I
and
didn't
I messed up. I'm sorry.
You tripped.
I didn't see the sun come up one time this year. I usually see the sun come up at least once or twice or 3 times. But I went to bed consistently at 4:30 or 5 o'clock and was up by 9. That's the goal. Is 5 hours sleep a night, 4 or 5
But
hours.
do
you
you
go.
do you ever
Go
nap
some
in the
more.
afternoon?
I napped one time there.
Yeah,
There was-
my
rainy days
mistake
all
was
day.
that I would go to bed at 5. I'd wake up at 8, and then I would drink
all day.
all day, and then about when the sun was about to go down, I'd go take a nap, and then I take a nap until my first show, and then
I
someone.
think that's a good strategy.
Well, now here's the problem.
Right before sundown. take
Here's
a
the
nap.
problem, though, is that we played. So like on Friday, we played a 4:30. No, was it? Yeah, it was Friday. It was Friday.
Friday we played at 4:30.
4:30, a 9:30, and a 12:30. And so we had all those shows. So what happened was we played the 4:30, and I drank a lot up until 4:30.
Right.
And then I went back to my camp and I slept.
He laid down at 8 o'clock.
And then
And then we have a show at 9:30.
and so at 9:15, they're literally pulling me out of my car, and they're like, "Dude, we gotta play." And I'm like, "Oh god!"
hold
And
together.
I'm like, I've got that hangover from
Earlier.
only sleeping 4 hours, 3 hours.
Right.
He doesn't take the required thing. He doesn't take the required things with him to get over these things.
Exactly.
I did not.
Sounds
No, and
like
so-
a rookie move.
I was a rookie. It was the first year in 2 years or
Right.
the last 3 years I didn't have my family with me.
You're just a little out
So,
of
like,
shape.
Well, yeah.
Jimmy doesn't get the practice, like I have Wednesday off a lot in the middle of the week, so you just drink all day. Like Jimmy
Oh,
doesn't.
Wednesday.
Jimmy doesn't have the practice
I don't
of
have
like
the
let's
practice.
drink all day this day.
No, I don't know. I do not know how to drink all day.
I'll teach you.
It's a relearned experience.
There was I had a very unconventional Winfield, and there was at one point I was really tired, and I told Andrea, my wife, we got to eat this or I'm gonna go to sleep.
Some chocolates.
Yeah, basically some chocolates. I'm like, we got to eat this or I'm gonna go to bed, and I was up till 4:30 in the morning.
Strategic drug use.
I played one of my favorite guitar riffs I ever made up in my life.
Hey, I'll tell you what. One of the best nights I had this year at Winfield was, I think it was about 4 or 5 in the morning, and you busted the guitar out, and you were like, "Oh, let's play some old sitcom tunes."
Yeah.
And he went
That was
through.
the theme for the night.
It was a theme for the 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock hour, and he played. I don't know,
So
probably like
many
6 to 10 different old sitcom
like
tunes.
what? Like what?
Oh man,
Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island, Golden Girls. A little bit.
And he's playing those. And so at this point, it's the night's dead as far as
over.
You can't hear a lot of things going on outside your campground. It's mostly just stuck to your campground. So you have like 4 or 5 people sitting at a campfire. At that point, it's really calm.
Right. Maybe some people that you're camping with it are like making it in and going to bed. Like
Right,
you see them as they're going to their
Throwing it.
tent.
Yeah. Or they're in their tent and they hear the song and want to get out. Paul.
I heard Paul was playing Golden Girls as he was going to bed. That was the best.
Well, no. What was the one when he came out? Cheers.
Cheers.
He came
We
out
played
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
He started playing the Cheers theme song, and he knew all the words to the original song.
Yeah. Like we're just playing the theme song, and he's like,
And he
Singing
came
for
out and he's
10?
like, "Oh, and the man wants to be a woman," or something. Like, we're like, I don't know that part of the song, but there's that part of the song.
Apparently, it gets really weird.
It gets really weird, and he was like, "Oh, cool, I know all this song." And he came out and it was just like, oh, "Okay,
We're like, hey, man, I'm like, just a TV show.
we're just doing sitcoms, dude. We're just doing sitcoms." Back
Just
off.
the theme on the TV. So we there's lots of really cool stages at Winfield. We luckily we got in.
Played all of them.
I'm so glad you're talking now, Tyler.
Thank you. I listen to you guys talk, and then I'm like,
Tell
okay,
me
I'm talking.
more.
He's like, it's
tell
my
me
turn.
more.
Oh, we
We,
played that. We did play
Do
that.
Grease, didn't we?
I also talked about my qualms with Grease and why I
See,
think
this
it's
is
like
why I don't
Tyler's
ever get to talk. You guys just go and see, this
I love
you guys give me a hard time
when
about it.
Tyler talks, so we can then like talk over him.
So there's
Look, it's
there's
like
a
on.
Fine Time stage at Winfield. Like the cool thing about the Fine Time guys is we got to know them real well over the years of playing with. Because Jimmy and I've been the first year we were at Winfield, we played for
That was our very first stage.
like 20 minutes, like on their stage during the middle of the day,
It's-
completely sober.
I look at these
I
pictures.
wore a
no
cowboy
fun.
hat.
We both wore cowboy hats.
They both were the same one. They switched it.
So we get to know them really well, and like now, like they they'll even introduce us sometimes as like the Fine Time family band or the Fine Time
cool.
like, and it's like it's kind of cool because like we've kind of got ownership in that stage because we want them to do well, and
Right.
like in stages at Winfield, kind of like if they don't get a push, like eventually that stage can go away.
Yeah,
And
you don't
so-
want to see
Fine
the-
Time's not going anywhere.
You don't want to see the, well. You don't want to see my. You want the people. You want to see the attraction, so the guys don't give up.
Right.
Kind of deal.
Yeah, because as soon as they start like the crowds stop dwindling, the bands start dwindling.
It's the guys at Fine Time. Big shout out to all of them guys. Love
Ryan
them to death.
Ward.
Ryan Ward, Dustin Baum,
Scott.
Phil.
Phil, and Scott. I didn't see Scott.
Scott wasn't here.
I
This
missed
year.
that guy. to
Scott
death.
wasn't there last
I miss
year.
you, Scott Hankins.
Oh,
Anyway.
hey, here's a picture of that very first Crappy show.
But they put
This is the one.
they put a lot of work into. They literally put so much work. They have to be there. They have to make sure the times are on somewhat. You know, they have to introduce the bands, get them off the stage, make sure their campsite's cleaned up. Because if that's the big thing. They got to make sure the campsite's cleaned up. Because you have
These nice time guys.
fine
Fine
time.
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 You have. I mean, there's.
There it is.
We play for a crowd of 200 people acoustically, but maybe the crowd flow throughout the night might.
Oh, nice.
The crowd flow might be 350 people.
Whoa, that's a blast from the past.
So they,
Wow, that's how I remember Jimmy
these
right
guys
there.
gotta keep it like they gotta keep their spot clean. That's a
Right.
big thing for them. Like if it's dirty, like they got shut down one year. They took their stage away one year,
because it was
They
dirty.
did.
and it popped up.
Because it was an unofficial stage.
It
was an unofficial
a lot of
stage, and
red
they saw
tape.
they came by at 7:00 in the morning. Those
They-
guys, the camp, the festival officials, they came by at 7:00 in the morning. Of course, the guys were not up yet to clean up yet. They got up. They would get up every morning about 10:00, and they would clean up the campsite because they'd be up till 5. Well, it was 7:00 in the morning. The officials come out there. This place is a mess. It looks like a wreck, and then they just shut it down. It was just they used the it's not an official camp stage as a scapegoat.
Right.
They really just
They shut it down for the whole time. The rest of the whole time.
Yeah.
it was about 2 days. It was shut down,
Right.
and
It was done. They didn't.
They fished. They finally the guys. It was almost like the growing up period of Fine Time. Like it was before. Like it's still rowdy. It's always been rowdy. But before it was like,
still is.
It was before. It was like they're like
My
rowdiest?
my wife said that she prefers not to ever go there.
It's the rowdiest stage at Winfield.
But it's
Yes.
one of those deals.
She
it's-
loves stage 7.
It's one of those deals like it was before this experience. It was like the guys were just like they were there. They were just doing what they want, and then the festival started getting involved, and they were like, we want these certain things, and you saw them like step up in an adult way, or like, yes, we will do that,
Right.
but we will still have fun,
Right.
And so now the ground is every night when you go down there, like if you go down there when the show started about 6:00, it is clean.
Well, what they do
By
is
the end of the night,
they
it
actually
might be dirty.
installed
Raise the
their
standards.
own trash barrels.
Receptacles, but still, you gotta pick up from
Smart
the people
move.
that don't use those. I mean,
Right,
the people that
so-
But
throw
for the
stuff
most
at their
part, though,
feet.
Winfield in general, people are the most cordial people you ever meet. Is I
You'll
a
still
lot of
see the
people,
There's
litter.
there's
You'll
no
still see
theft.
and it's like
There's
it's like
nothing.
going to Canada. You bump into somebody and they apologize to you.
It's basically
Right.
the worst infraction you see at Winfield is littering, and you do see it, but luckily,
Rare.
It's worse at the lake than it
it's
was
worse to, like,
in the
because
Pecan
there's
Grove.
not as many
well, especially now that
receptacles,
they've gotten on the Pecan Grove. But
in the
they-
Pecan Grove, though, I mean, that's the thing is like you can park your car in the thick of 15,000 people and not worry about it being
Oh
locked.
no, I wouldn't.
I go to my office every day and I still lock my car.
Yeah.
And I can see my car from the office window. But there, you're like, man, it doesn't
I locked
matter.
my base up every night this year.
You did because you're at the lake. At the lake, it's different because there's a
Different
lot
crowd.
of
Well,
different crowd.
and here's the deal: like the townies that know about the festival, they hear about all the cool stuff that happens in the campgrounds. Well, then they hear it's at the lake, and they don't have to pay the festival fee. They can go to
They
the
don't have
lake.
to pay 75 bucks.
So now townies can come in, and not to say that they're all bad, but not to
There
say
are some
They
bad
are.
not to
apples.
say
Are you,
not
are
to
you
say that they're all.
stereotyping Winfielders?
I'm just saying, not to say they're all bad, just not to say,
Townies.
not to say they're all good.
Right.
I mean, and I saw this before.
Well, they're there for a different
Before,
intention.
Well, no, I saw it
before
my
we
first
showed up at
year.
before we showed up at the lake, a woman from Winfield who goes to Walnut Valley Festival, she posted and was like, just to get this out there. Basically, she was like, last time there was a lot of theft from townies, people and like this. Like, she was basically calling on her community to be better than that.
Right.
And I was like, that's really cool.
What was funny is that like
And which means that there was people from the community watching.
Right.
Which
and noticing that there was a
which
problem.
which means there was, besides the cops, there was probably people from the town that would keep
I
an
didn't
eye
really
on
see that many
things.
cops this year. Only
No,
the
not
last
as
night.
many. Not as many as cops. Not as many cops. You saw more on golf carts, and it really, I don't know how it was for each zone, but I saw the same 2 or 4 cops every day.
The only night I saw cops was the last night.
You
When
never
you-
worry about
I
cops.
saw.
Jimmy, you were sleeping or drunk most of the time.
Yeah, we did have to wake you up a lot. Hey, one cops did stop me and tell me I was a trooper. And at first I thought they said, that guy's tripping. And I'm like, you can't tell that. And I'm like, there's no way you could tell that. And then I'm like, no, they said I was a trooper. Because I was walking, I had my base cart. I have a golf cart that been in a Bud Nebraska modified for me to carry it upright. And I was walking with that thing everywhere. And they
Right.
even the cops noticed my hard work.
The tripper.
Your hard work
I was-
or Ben and Bud's hard work?
I had to carry that sumbitch. It took them all of about an hour to make that.
What was a golf cart? It wasn't hard. They just closed it.
I was in a mood and I was so excited. I chatted those cops' ears off.
You're not worried about him at all.
No, honestly, man. I mean,
No.
the only problem. There's only one year that I've ever been there that they were like they dressed in plain clothes and they were in the crowd.
Basically, if you're gonna if you're gonna do anything, you stay in your campground. You stay in your camp. Like, don't go to like the campground stages where
Don't
there's a
pass weed around in
Don't
front of
go where
random
there's-
people.
Like, obviously, they're gonna watch the crowd.
Use the rules
that-
you use at home.
They're gonna watch the crowd that has 200 people there. I mean, you know what I mean?
The big stage, main stages.
No, well, Fine Time.
Oh, even fine time.
Fine Time has. I mean, big stages gets like they might get 1,000 people. Like, but we get like we were playing for 200 people with no PA system at all. And so, of course, they look at there's a big crowd of people right there. They're probably passing joints, and they'll walk
Right.
through the crowd.
They're eyeing this and that.
Or wait there until they get it and they'll drag somebody back.
The one.
Or
I
wait
was-
till they're
scary
then
as shit.
or wait and then they'll ask you for some.
The
You're a cop, man. You gotta tell me. You gotta tell me if you're a cop.
Your cop? Well, if you want to smoke, it's cool.
Don't get me for entrapment.
There was a guy that runs Fine Time. His name's Phil. He was telling me this year. He's one of the reasons why they love our band so much is we have a song that's called All Messed Up, and it changes lyrics a little bit when we're at Winfield, or if the crowd is really kind of a little rowdy. Evidently everybody in the crowd was singing the chorus lines. I'm all messed up, and everybody in the crowd was. And there's this undercover cop over in the corner of the stage. He was his head's down, his hands on his forehead. He's just like, oh my god, like what is going on with these
Disgusted.
people?
Well, no, he's
That's a good
just,
way to scope undercover
he's,
cops.
He's just missing out.
Ugh, I think he chose the wrong career.
It's just wrong career.
Sorry, no offense,
Or
cops.
just like take this weekend off.
yeah, come on, dude.
So you have more questions?
Yeah, I do. What's the goal for Tragic Prelude?
To do this forever.
Yeah, you want to do it as long as it can go.
I think we're
Yeah.
all, as long as we're having
I
fun.
want to
I think
be.
we
I
can
want to
have-
be a 60-year-old man and
Playing
meet up with these
well
two
drilling.
other dudes.
Even if we only play a couple times a year.
Even if it's, I don't care if it's well drilled or anything. I just want it to be that whenever I'm 60 years old, that I can be like, hey guys, let's go play a show down at whatever bar's open in Baxter now.
That is the goal. That's
The goal is
it's
to be-
seriously, it's like, no matter what we do, we'll always be playing music together.
Yeah.
We've talked about it many times. Is like it's like we're having fun. Let's keep having fun. As long as we're having fun, we can play music.
Yep.
Right.
And we always have fun when we.
The
play
only
music,
times you
so-
ever have qualms is when it's about money, and that's the best part. Is that it doesn't have to be about money. This is all about our friendship and fun.
Fortunately, the
it's
thing
all
is
about
though,
friendship
when
now.
we play, I mean, there's been times we haven't made good money, but generally dividing money between 3 people is really easy. And I will say this.
5 by 3.
I will say this because I've played in several bands. I make more money in Tragic Prelude than I do in any other band, just as much when we play.
It's
And
really great.
Well, you're
It's-
dividing by
it-
3
we're
people.
fortunate.
you know?
It's not about the money, but we're fortunate that we're able to make money. You know, you could pay us $200 and we end up pretty good.
And well,
Right.
that's the great thing is like next month we're playing a couple shows, and we're not making crazy money on any show really.
But there's
No.
a chance to make decent money.
But
Right.
I look forward to I look forward to playing for sure. But like one of the cool things is too I look forward. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna make a little extra money next month.
Yeah.
Right.
I
And
have
I'm like,
a
oh,
little
cool.
extra Skrilla.
It pays for some
that what they
little
call it these
extra.
days?
Yeah, I can pay for my gas.
I think
for the
people
month,
call
you
it
know, and, like,
Skrilla.
a little extra, you know.
It's been a long
Maybe
time.
cheese.
I was gonna say it sounds like a cheese.
You make enough bread to soak up all your liquor. That's what you. That's the ultimate goal. Make enough bread to soak up all your liquor. Speaking of that,
Hey, dude, I'm going at my pace here, and I'm not done with this one yet.
well, me and Ty.
Kyle, your bar tab's getting pretty lengthy, man.
Is it okay? No.
What about making some cheese off like iTunes songs? You know, like $1.39 downloads.
I like I said earlier, I got a digital recorder, a little digital recorder. I'd like to just
I'm
get
telling
this
you, man.
room here, right here,
There's some money to be made here.
Henry's Orange. I'd like to.
We'll quit this meat shop and we'll go big time.
Yes, please.
I'm telling you, dude, this fucking close.
Colton, you know I'm in with you. Anything you want to do, man. Let's do this. I'll co-host this show with you if you want.
You're pretty good. You got a good voice for it.
Thank you.
the mumbler over here.
Thank you. Hey, I mumble when I talk, but not over the microphone,
No, not at all. You haven't stuttered once.
and not when I drink. I didn't realize this. Okay, I called somebody one time.
That you were drinking?
I called somebody while I was drinking, and like it was just friends. And Brad Shaw's not. He's not on the phone. He's there, and he knows I'm on the phone, and he's like, "Is that Kyle?" I hear him in the background.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. He's like, is he drinking? Like, yeah. Like, is he not stuttering because he's drinking? I'm like, son of a bitch.
They notice it.
I'm like, so I don't stutter when I drink? Like, if I'm sober, I'm
Hey,
I'm
dude.
Kyle Ogle.
Let's not knock stuttering because Elon Musk just did his. Did you watch the SpaceX Mars today?
I saw you tweet about it.
Oh, dude. So
He stuttered?
He stutters through the entire
he
presentation.
needed a fucking drink.
What?
No,
And
it's
boom
because
goes
he's
the
sleep
dynamite.
deprived.
What happened? Did something blow up or
No, nothing blew up. He announced that they're going to Mars in the
why
next.
was he stuttering?
No, he's the anti Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs went up there and he was
Right.
confident and
Right.
just like
Sold it.
he was very charismatic
Right.
in his own way. Elon Musk he's not Tony Stark. He's doing Tony Stark things.
Hey,
But he just gets up there and he's like
I've seen him do interviews before, and they haven't been. I mean, they're not terrible.
he's not like stuttering, but he's just so like
dude, you worked
not
on your
confident
slides.
about it. He's just kind of like, so here, look at these
Oh, wait,
facts.
what would you say if you were going to go to Mars? Like, how would you present it?
I would present and be like, "Hey, we're
I'd be like,
going to
listen up,
Mars."
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to Mars.
I would write a Tragic Prelude song about it.
And Mars.
I would
And
write
all
a
of a sudden,
it
like,
would, it would now be a bluegrass song.
Fireworks would happen. I'd be like, look at this spaceship I created. It's amazing. Woohoo!
Explosion.
Instead, he's like, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so I've got this spaceship, and it's going to hold 100 people, and the only requirement is...
So
that
he
you-
sound like an airplane pilot.
Yeah, he's
I
like,
try-
I
hey,
trust
we're-
him more.
The only requirement is that
You die on
You have to be
Mars.
prepared to die.
Did he
He's
say
like,
that?
yeah, he was like, yeah, he straight up said that. He's like, the
Okay.
requirement is that
Okay.
you have to expect that you may die.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're not
vote.
coming back.
Vote. Who's here? Who here's willing? No, okay, not a show of hands. Say aye. Tyler.
Who's what?
I
Tyler. Aye. Jimmy, are you willing
To go to Mars?
Am I willing to? No,
You
I
willing
have,
to die? Go
I
to
have a
Mars.
family. Believe
What's
me,
the question?
if you ask,
to die to go to Mars?
No, if
You
you,
die
would
on
you go to
Mars?
Mars if you? If
Are
you'd
you
have
willing
to-
to-
if
are
you
you
maybe
willing-
would die?
Basically, what the guy said. Are you
Who's
willing
going with
to die?
me? That's my question.
A group of other people.
Yeah, are they females? Are they male? Like,
Well, okay. You
Is
don't
your
get to.
wife
You don't
what's
get
going?
my gut? Just me and her?
yeah,
Yeah, I'll go.
No. Okay, we're not putting this stuff.
Sounds fun.
Yeah,
We're not making such
yeah.
happy stipulations. You're going with a group of other people
Yeah.
you met in training. And
no.
you
Here's the
might
thing:
die,
he said
you might die
zero
once-
to no training.
Okay,
And
okay,
you might die.
And you might you might
This
die.
is announced.
Why is this window open? You put on your jacket.
Close it.
Open the window.
Close it. I mentioned closing earlier. Hannah told me I had to leave when the windows look open.
While the women's away, we'll close the windows.
She
Hopefully she doesn't listen to
she
this.
literally texted me like 10 minutes ago. She's like, "Don't close the windows. If Oliver's cold, who is a 4-month-old, Put a heavier blanket.
You
on
tell her
him.
I'm cold.
I said I have the hoodie on.
I'll open it a little bit.
It's
No, don't worry about
45
this.
degrees outside.
It's cold.
I don't want Oliver's
No,
equilibrium.
it's
today.
upstairs.
Okay. No, just 0 to little training. Group of people you don't really know.
I'm trying to colonize Mars. I'm
Yeah.
gonna build.
and you might die.
You're gonna build
You
the next
might
pizza
die.
place.
The key is might.
You're not okay. Chances
will-
are
you
you're
will
not going to Matt
definitely-
Damon it.
You will
Will you go,
definitely
Colton?
go
Will
you go,
down
Colton?
in
Will
history.
you go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah. See, Colton and I are going together. We're gonna freaking
No, we're not.
together.
If I could go Star Trek.
Can we have like a little confession moment here? I did go to space camp.
At Greenbush.
No.
NASA.
You went to fucking NASA.
No,
You
I
went to
didn't go
Kentucky?
to NASA. I didn't go to NASA. I went to space camp in
Sheboygan.
Hutchinson, Kansas.
How old were you?
I was in sixth
You wanted to be
grade.
an astronaut.
I wanted to be an astronaut
And
real bad. And I still want to be an astronaut real bad.
So do I. Who does not want to be an
seriously,
astronaut?
that's every
I mean,
boy's dream.
No,
You
so
got
like they had like the
fireman,
G-force.
astronaut.
They had like the G-force.
I
thing.
never
did
wanted.
that.
I never wanted to be an astronaut.
Go. You did too.
I was always fine with my guitar in my bedroom.
Why do you
So-
think I went to college for 7 years? I was like, hey, maybe I could be an astronaut.
Did you have that in your thinking?
Dang straight I
Really?
did,
Yeah?
yes.
Really?
Did you put an
Should've spent
application
less
in to go
time
to Mars?
banjoing.
Don't you?
No,
I
I
Mars
should've
one
spent
takes
less time
taking
drinking.
applications.
this last December.
Perhaps.
Maybe you should have spent
Perhaps.
more time astronauting.
This last December.
You should have been a fighter pilot in the Air Force.
Wait,
that's the,
what
that's the
happened?
I
first
really wish
step.
people would stop talking.
Did you ever put on those squirrel fly suits and fly?
So, like
Last
in
December.
December, NASA actually opened up 4 openings for astronauts, and I sent my application. I fit all the criteria, and I was like, I'm probably there's
What's the
about
criteria?
A million. Oh, I don't remember. It was in December.
It's really hard.
I drank a lot of beer since December.
This is
This is why he's not an astronaut.
This is why I did not.
They're like,
know.
what's your
No.
acumen for drinking alcohol? He's like, Keystone Light.
See, you're looking.
They're like, are you good at drinking alcohol? I'm like, yeah, I can drink some beer.
You're looking in the wrong field. I one time was gonna put my letter in, and I was gonna volunteer myself to be a spy. I was gonna write a letter to the government, like, "Hey, I always thought it'd be pretty cool. I'm pretty good at keeping secrets. I want to be a spy. I want to be a spy." And drinking goes hand in hand with that, because you gotta drink if you're a spy, and you gotta be able to like not get so drunk you tell shit, you know. So I one time was at one time.
You're not doing
I
good
would
at that
tell
so far.
everything.
No, I wouldn't.
I'd be like,
America.
I would be so
like,
happy to be a
two
spy.
drinks. Hey, guess what, guys? I'm a spy.
I would be so happy to be a spy. I'd be that guy.
Bug. There's a bug up there.
I would be that guy to take a drink and then be like the only way you could tell I'm a spy, like I take a drink and I go. I smile at you real big and you're like, oh, that guy's not right. Like
If you guys need a little context clue, that was a Cheshire cat type grin while drinking a beer.
His shoulders were raised by his ears.
I watched Burn Notice all the way through.
Oh yeah, dude. All I know
be a
about
spy.
Bruno's is that you could definitely jump out of like a 10th-story building
Anything.
onto a mattress. You throw your mattress out the window into the pool
Kyle?
and then jump out.
Kyle
no,
can?
No, and Burn Notice.
No, Kyle's done it. I've seen it.
Michael Weston is the
you get
man.
it?
I'm not afraid.
YouTube.
I've done some amazing things, and I don't think that's out of the question.
No doubt about that.
It's just like completely like
You're a
just turned
trooper,
to
homie.
shit.
You're a trooper.
How did these shows end?
We did know. Hey, can we all just do a collective weird noise?
They synced up to. Kyle's taking over the show.
So, Colton, I gotta tell you this story. So, Saturday night at Winfield, I'm playing bass with another band. We played a set.
Obviously.
We
That
Podcast.
Kansas City
We-
Bear one.
we played a set, and then there was another band, and then I was playing with a band named Deadeye. Great group of girls, awesome vocals, awesome
Yes.
songs. Great, check them out.
Jay Murph.
Jay Murph on the saxophone.
You guys should do some collaborations.
Anyways, yes, we should.
Yes.
With other
But
bands.
so I'm on a great state of mind that night. I'm excited, and the
Mycelium.
band before us is ending their set with "Don't Worry, Be Happy Now,"
Is that
Ooh,
right,
yeah,
boys?
yeah.
and they're doing the la 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 la
Yeah,
la
yeah.
la la la.
Good
And
vibes.
They're walking off stage as they play it, and I'm like, girls, we got to keep this going. We got to keep this going as we're going on stage. Like, let's just keep playing this fucking song. And so we continue it. We're still on stage. The crowd is singing this la 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 la. And we're playing it. Well, then the Rye Boys, the whole band, comes back up from the other side of the stage,
Plays it with you.
and their bass player come and like everybody's on stage, and we do it a cappella. And earlier in the night, I let Tyler go a cappella on the banjo, and I let him go extended a cappella. I even held Jimmy's guitar to refuse to let him play. And
This happened.
So like we're doing a cappella, la 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 la, whatever. And so it comes time for like you would think the band would come back in, and I heard somebody make a noise, and I grabbed their fucking instrument like nobody play. So we went on for 2 more times, la 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 la, and then we come back in, and so we're come back in with one full chorus. I'm like, somebody take a solo, and Jimmy walks up. Jimmy walks up
With a
this-
back. I just showed up.
I
missed all
He
of
literally
that.
just walks up on stage, just like I got this huge smile on my face, and he just walks up, and he goes, and he stops and he goes again, and it was literally. Even he had this look on his face, like, "What the fuck?" Everybody in the crowd. It was like a total moment of silence where everybody goes.
You killed it.
And then the song ended shortly after. But we had to begin the set somewhere. And it was the best solo I'd ever seen. It was just Jimmy. It was like a wolf howling. He stuck his head up and goes. Yeah, that was it. And you can just see his little tongue go. It was the best. I tell my wife wasn't there for it. She could hear the crowd reaction of everything going on for Fine Time that night, and she wasn't even there for it. And when I tell her about it, she just about cries laughing. And like
The greatest solo of all time.
the two
From the heart.
The 2 craziest Fine Time sets I've ever played were that night. It was we let a crowd of about 200 people in the Hokey Pokey.
This is true.
Oh, nice.
Jimmy
Yeah.
and Tyler took their shirts off.
It happened.
Common occurrence.
I had everybody drink a beer.
Yeah.
like,
We
everybody-
made them pound a beer.
Everybody just pound a beer.
Everybody drank a beer.
Oh, that's right. I stone colded it. I just
Yeah.
tipped it back and just poured it down my
And I was like, it's okay if you're slow.
Take your time.
Take your time.
Oh,
If you need to take a breath, it's okay.
You guys going next year, right?
Of course.
every year.
Every year.
Never miss it.
That's right.
If someone wants to go along, how does one do that?
You
Come with
just-
us.
You buy
Come
a
with us.
ticket and you can camp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
But don't buy a
Like-
ticket until you're at the door. Like, all right, so
I might buy an early bird just because I'm hoping the fact that it won't flood 2 years ago.
Yeah, right.
but so like if you
How
get
much
there
do you
early,
save on early bird?
$10.
Oh, that's
$20.
not-
$20.
Oh.
It's 75
Okay.
95.
So it's worth it to hold out. I feel like if you're gonna gamble on it,
My whole deal is like, I need to spend the money in December, so I'm not trying to save up for it.
It's
So-
a lot easier.
because, well,
it's a lot easier to
it
spend
also doesn't
75
help-
than spend 100.
it
than
also
is to
doesn't
spend
help
200
that
all at
your
once.
Right.
card taxes and everything are all
Oh,
everything's
yeah.
doing.
The way the state of Kansas works, my car taxes are due in the month of August.
And so by the time September rolls around, it's like all of your
Nothing left.
installments. Yeah.
It's the 3rd week into September. All my bills are due the 15th of the month.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's give all our money away and try to go on vacation.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I took out a loan this year. And my Henry's bottle says stay.
That's my mom's.
It's
My
like-
mom brought those over.
Henry's hard soda.
It's like, don't go next year. Stay. Thumbs up. No, fuck you, Henry's.
You've heard it from the man. Let's wrap this son of a bitch up.
No,
You guys-
let's keep going.
Some of us have to work tomorrow.
What are you doing tomorrow? Cutting meat?
I actually don't have to work tomorrow, so.
Exactly.
shit.
It's Wednesday. Drinks all day tomorrow.
That was that Cheshire Cat grin. Yeah, I have to be up in. Let's see, it is 12:35. I have to be up in 5 hours.
So
You'll be
I
good.
get 4
Little
to 5
coconut
hours. I get
oil in the
5
coffee.
hours. My infant son will wake up, and then as soon as he wakes up, the toddler, the 3-year-old, will run in the room immediately as soon as he makes a noise.
Oh man.
And he will start harassing me to just pay attention to him. And I'll be like,
I get about 5 hours of sleep a night, sometimes 4, and like, so that's normal.
I usually get that. It's totally normal for me, but
I get
it's
8
still
hours.
just
I
like
don't know
I'm
what they're
still a
complaining
grump
about.
ass son of a bitch.
2 nights
No,
ago
6.
though, I went to bed at 9:30. I woke up at 2 o'clock.
Wide awake.
Blitzed.
Did not go back to sleep.
Oh, that sucks.
Dude, like,
so
like, anytime I might have dozed off, I still like when I woke up, it literally felt like I hadn't woke up. It felt like I'd just been awake.
yeah.
So it's just like,
that's
so
weird.
I don't even think I really dozed off that much, and I was just like, son of.
I thought he was just walking out.
I thought he was too.
Tyler's like, well, you guys, I'm going.
So on.
That's
so
very Jimmy of you.
I took. It's my mo. So
we got to end this podcast by Jimmy just walking away and not saying anything.
I was
like,
gonna
yeah,
do
you're
a
in my
solo.
house, so I'm
And
going
then
to bed.
About 5 minutes later, we're like, "Where's Jimmy at?"
Okay, you
Thought he was taking a piss
hey,
over there.
Anybody need a drink?
Yeah, right.
Gone.
He keeps
That's-
bringing
all right.
her upstairs.
So I the other night we went family camping on Saturday night. We got home about 5 o'clock on Sunday. I went to bed at 8:30 or 8 o'clock. Hannah took Teddy up to bed, and Oliver was sleeping, and I fell asleep on the couch before 9 o'clock and slept from 9 until 7.
Oh my god!
Is that a congratulations? Is it,
I don't know what to do.
No,
Is this
I'm
slow
sorry.
clap?
I'm sorry, but as a father, that's the most incredible.
Hell yeah.
That's the most amazing amount of sleep I've ever had in my life.
It felt good.
Did you also?
No, I
find
felt
$5?
terrible. I felt so
Dude,
bad.
you
the next
get
day.
too much sleep, you feel like shit.
Yeah, I got too much sleep.
If I get 8 hours, I feel terrible.
I felt like shit.
I need less
I
than
That's
was-
because you
hours.
need 8 more hours.
No, I need less than 8 hours.
I think you're catching up on it.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
need less.
no.
You're
If
in
you
the
look at science,
groove.
it doesn't show that you should get. You
8
can't.
hours.
There's no. It shows that you don't catch up.
You can catch up, but it has to be the
You
next
can't.
night.
It has. You can't.
No.
You can't catch up.
Hey,
Yeah,
when,
it's the
when
next
you're,
night.
so what do you
can
do?
make up.
when
as
you're
long as you
Kyle
do.
Ogle, you don't catch up.
Wow. That
I'm
sounds
sorry, you
fun.
kind of suck.
All right.
So what do you do?
Huh?
What do you do to catch up
You
Never.
don't catch up. You just go back
You
to your
just
normal
live.
sleep cycle.
Oh.
You have to deal.
with the rest of your
That's-
life and
well-
is sleep debt?
Yeah, your sleep that's gone. Your sleep. How much sleep do you think you have?
How much sleep do I think I have?
No, sleep debt.
A year.
A year of sleep.
Oh fuck, I'm way fucking. Dude, I don't get no sleep, man. My weekends are fucked. My weeks are fucked. Man, I try to just spend time to have fun.
Tyler, what's your sleep debt?
More than I wish it was. That's for sure.
I think my sleep debt's probably a year or two. I feel like
Seems
it's
like a
probably
good estimate. You know?
yeah, a
I
good estimate is that
well, if you think you stay up till midnight,
Now-
you get
now-
a 6
now, wait a
and
minute.
that's
Yeah.
a
Wait a
couple
minute.
hours every
Yeah.
night. You know.
yeah.
What was it?
So what do you think? You think you make up that for when you're 40?
Shit, I hope not.
No, like cause I'm
You're
saying
You're
like
60 years old. Is that why some old people are just like sleep all
You
the
make
time?
up for it in Winfield is what you do.
No,
No,
you don't.
no.
You
know.
sleep less than Winfield.
No, but you
Yeah.
detox in Winfield. It's
You
not,
detox
it's
in
not
Winfield.
that you want to catch up
No,
on your sleep. You got to
no,
get rid
no.
of that stress.
No,
you
you
do
get the
relieve
stress,
stress.
but then you come home and then I detox from alcohol.
My liver hurts.
With
for
I'm
about
not
2
kidding.
weeks, yeah.
I'm serious.
feel
Like
like-
I got home and I had my body temperature was up. I was just
All that gut
I
bacteria's
sweated
dead.
it out for 4 days.
Oh my god,
I stayed
didn't
in,
drink
I stayed
for
an extra night. It felt perfect.
you're a different.
I didn't
breed.
drink for 4 days after I got home.
I drank the
and
next
I
day.
sweated it out. Like even like we're talking like Wednesday. After I got home on Sunday afternoon. I got home and on Wednesday.
Coconut water. That shit.
Coconut water.
Hey, I bought some
Coconut
today.
water is good.
Dollar
Coconut
General.
oil and
Dollar
coffee.
General sells
Yeah,
coconut.
yeah.
Dollar General sells some awesome coconut water.
The Bokai.
Bokai. Coconut water.
No.
End it with a solo.
But
Huh?
yeah, it's as far as
He
sleep
beat you
goes.
to it.
As far as sleep goes, I seriously I hate sleep. I don't find sleep important. I do it just because I have to.
Yes.
And I
Sleep is just
I love
ruining your
sleep.
time.
I seriously I don't enjoy it.
You don't enjoy sleeping?
No, I want to be fucking.
No,
up.
sleep is a waste of time.
It's a waste of time, but
would
it's
love to
enjoyable.
sleep
I was
right
gonna-
about now. To be honest.
I enjoy sleep. I enjoy
Yeah, I'm
sleep.
getting kinda
But
tired.
The thing is, I
Only because I know what I have to do tomorrow morning.
Dang straight.
Dreading.
Kyle's keeping us all awake. What the hell?
I got a wife with a birthday.
I'm
I got to celebrate tomorrow, so
We'll
Oh,
just
her
leave this
birthday's
thing running.
tomorrow?
I'm gonna get up and drink.
Happy birthday, Andrea.
It's Thursday though, but we're celebrating tomorrow.
Fuck that. Not
Well,
your
happy
birthday.
I guess, in like 20,
Birthday canceled.
48 hours.
How about you guys go to bed? Me and Colton will just continue on this. Goodbye.
I was just saying, just leave the mics going.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to bed. All right.
Who wants to fix another
You
cocktail?
out? You really out?
I'm done.
One more cocktail. One more cocktail.
No.
I know I'm out of 7-Up.
We just need whiskey. They're nice.
Order has been summoned.
There's a little bit of ice. Let me get some
12:43.
You're good. And he continues.
I had 4.
Just
It's a little long forward.
1, 2, 3.
So drop your shows again. Drop your shows, your dates.
The 15th at the Old Deckers Bar and Grill.
Mm-hmm. Red Mills.
Creekside. And Redding's Mill Inn is on the 22nd.
Uh-huh.
Both will be really fun shows. Come on out.
Any fun Tragic Prelude stuff we haven't talked about?
Probably a
Yeah,
lot.
you-
I feel like this
you-
would take like maybe
Please
we can
excuse
do
our bass player.
6
We can do
hours.
episode 2, homie.
Hey,
No problem about
episode two.
that.
let's do a
Yeah.
shout out to Kenny Stark. Kenny Stark is
Yeah.
really what.
Yes. Hey, like I said, I saw you guys in 2010 up there rocking it at Fine Time, and you guys made the rock block at Fine Time that year.
Our first year.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You guys played there one night, and then they were pretty much like the next night you guys were on the rock block there in the 10 to 12 period. It was pretty cool. I remember standing there with my now wife. Andrew was there with me, and they were like, they're fucking rocking it. Like, they're really getting it. And it wasn't one of those, like, although I did become bass player, it wasn't one of those deals like, I could do that, like, this moment kind of deal. It was something we worked towards to fit me in. It was cool.
Yeah,
But
it
you
was
were
cool.
inspired at that moment.
Oh, I was inspired. Yeah.
yeah.
And I love that style of music was great. And it's just funny is me and Ben, it was our first year at Winfield. Like during the day, we were walking around and we stumbled upon Mountain Sprouts campsite, and they were outside jamming. And Dan, the bass player, was wore out because Grayson just had them playing constantly, and Grayson was wore out. And I could tell. And I was like, "Hey man, I don't know the right bass player." And so he handed me the bass, and I quickly realized I had no idea about slap upright. And Grayson Form was like, "What are we taking tryouts now?" Like, that's Grayson. You know what I mean? Like, that's how he is.
The guy's pretty serious about it.
Yeah, so it just turned into it. It was just the bass back to Daniel, and it was just, I don't know. It's a cool experience, and just where we're at now is pretty wild.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good place to be. I'm definitely going next year. Be out of school, work on the weekends, just
Should.
take off.
Should you
Yeah.
could,
It's
hey,
worth it.
You get this thing going
Absolutely.
big enough, probably get a press pass.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
be cool.
the one of the guys we know gets a press pass.
Nice.
You know,
Save a
you
little
get
money.
This podcast big enough, things like that.
Be cool. It'd be
And
cool.
covering festivals would be cool too and stuff, man. You
Yeah,
know,
doing a little behind the stage.
I know a
shit.
Festi cab driver you could ride around with.
That'd be cool.
You could ride around with.
You know,
for a
it'd be
day.
cool to do some radio rap type podcasts.
Festi cab.
Real nice and produced.
Like taxi cab.
Okay, great.
That was my
Wait.
Radio Lab noise.
I can't even think of their names right now.
Jad album.
Oh, yeah. I'm
you
Robert
know,
Cole.
and
Robert
as-
Crowell.
As much as I love Winfield, though, this band, it goes past Winfield like we're buddies.
Yep.
We're like outside of it, like when we get we don't see each other as often as we probably should. But when we
It's
do,
my fault.
No, it's not.
The kids.
It's not. It's all like
I have
seriously-
children.
Seriously, I have a wife who's like, I don't want to do anything tonight. I want to stay in and do nothing. I'm like, okay, well, I can't do anything. So it's, or sometimes she's like, well, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, well, I can't go out and do this. So, but it's,
You'll learn.
I take my vacation with these guys every year. We're brothers. We
Right.
play when we can. We have fun. When we get together, it's just a blast. It's It's
more than
everything-
Winfield. It's more than the band. You know, it gives
It's
you
everything I
guys
could want and more.
Purpose.
It really is.
Right.
I want. I mean, it's
Motivation.
and it'll probably get bigger as the future goes, and like as we get into our 30s and 40s. I mean, I can only see the band doing more because like as our kids get older, like I don't have kids. Like what's funny is my dad. I'm gonna play a set this Friday with my dad and a guy that's singing with us. My dad has not played music with since 1987.
Wow.
New Year's Eve, 1987, going into 1988, 5 days before I was born. Or 5 days after I was born. 5 days after I was born. You know, so it's like, to me, it's like, my dad was
Coming
playing
full circle.
My dad was playing a gig New Year's Eve. I was born on December 26th. My dad was playing a gig on December 31st. I'm like, that's what I will be doing.
Right.
Like if I have a kid, like I will be playing a gig the week after.
Right.
Because one thing, gotta make the money.
I didn't.
Yeah, he took, what, 8 months off?
If one thing, Jimmy didn't have to rely on that. I do.
Right.
And it's one of those deals. It's just it's a fun deal. I see us from now only getting stronger and just doing more as our kids get older, and things like that, and just have more freedom to like live our older lives.
I know we've talked about it before, but you guys need a music video.
Ooh,
You don't sound so excited.
we could do one. We could.
Ooh,
Music. We could record. We could get one solid recorded track down and do a solid music video with that. No problem.
It puts a face. Well, I mean, besides Winfield, it like puts a face to the band and allows for.
And you
I don't
don't
know how
see
many
that.
people to see.
You've only that's a market that's only been delved in a few times in our market.
Right.
Like Tornado Rose has done a video. I know Whistle Pigs have done a video, but I don't know too many bands have ever done videos. But it'd be nice to have.
It's not like a video. Yeah, it's not like a video scene.
We could probably pull something together though that combine our past with our present and make something interesting.
Even
that
like
people
a
wanna listen to.
10-minute documentary over the band would be really cool.
Yeah.
Just where you came from.
Or this 2 hour and 30-minute podcast.
If there's one thing,
yeah, this is a good start.
if there's one thing to say about Tragic Prelude, where I think we end up being a lot cooler than we think we are. We end up coming off. And
I don't know about that.
Not just cooler. I mean, like cooler. Like all around. Like our jams are heavier than we thought they were. Our appearance is stronger than we thought they were. Our even like when we do a live show, like when we're on the microphones,
We don't think that great of ourselves.
Our well, I do.
I do.
Our stage banter is better than you think it would be. It's just we have a lot going for us. We do, and it's continued to get. It's not going to go away. We're not going to lose any of it. It's going to continue from years on.
Psyched.
When I got into this band, we got heavy. Like when I got in this band, then we finally got into a heavy groove. I personally decided that this was going to stay.
I'm going to make this.
I first decided that I was going to force these guys to continue this as long as possible. And I hope they feel the same way I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course we do.
It's not. I mean, and if we write another new song, that's cool. If we don't, that's cool. We could probably. Honestly, we could probably delve into some like weird covers that nobody would have ever thought about, and fill up an hour of that, and just weird stuff because we're good musicians. I mean, the vocals are always there. I mean that, and then just learning songs.
No doubt.
It's really cool.
You guys are all so fucking cool. I mean, I grew up with all you. So the band's cool. It's going good places. I'm glad it came back together after the whole whatever falling out and having life
Not
happen
really falling out, just
with
a
boys
just a
and
short
whatnot.
lull.
Short lull, but
Yeah.
came back stronger, you know.
Oh yeah.
Closer.
Yep.
You play harder. So
Yep.
I'm psyched to see what happens. I'm psyched for Winfield next year, the upcoming shows and everything. So,
Nice.
and I appreciate you
Hey,
guys coming on the podcast
Me and you
too.
can do some badass stuff at Winfield next year. You can.
We can't
bring some
talk
equipment.
about the podcast.
You can do that. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to preview. We're going to do some bad stuff next year.
We're gonna do some bad stuff.
We're going to go interview everybody.
Not me.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it
We'll
when it's
interview
not
everybody.
1 a.m. and I'm,
Even like Teddy and
fucking
Silas.
blitzed.
We'll interview Teddy and Silas.
that'll be kind of cool.
Actually,
Maybe.
Teddy and Silas might have a good outlook on it.
Any last words?
No.
Hey,
We're also just
Do we need to unplug Kyle's mic?
blitzed.
I'm real tired.
Jimmy's exhausted. Tyler's zoned out.
I know
Hey,
my
I'm
I know
barely hanging on to
responsibility.
reality.
you want to know what Saturday night at Winfield felt like? This guy just going crazy, and these two just dealing with it.
That's worth the ticket price.
These two just dealing with it. And then
Thank you,
I-
Colton, for having us on.
Absolutely.
Hey, and then I played with the band, and then I took over their set as well.
Hard to believe. You guys are all awesome. Thanks for coming on. Everybody, thanks for making it to 2 hours and 33 minutes on episode 23 with SciFi and Friends. We will see you probably sometime next week. I don't have anybody lined up, but I will. So
we'll do it.
I got someone right there. Kyle's coming back on. Guys, please come back on anytime you want. If you want to promote anything, make music videos, record, let me know. I'd really like to help. Or I'd just come to a show and drink beer with you. I think it'd be cool.
Awesome.
You guys are
Thanks,
awesome.
man.
Thank you for the support. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace.
Sci-Fi wins.